Hello, everyone. Welcome, and hope you enjoyed that awesome intro of a lot of movies that are going to be featured tonight here on the Movie Hero Network and Tournament Fights. My name is Austin Pez Howell. I will be your sheriff for this evening into the festivities here on the Movie Hero Network. Like I said, this is episode number 168, the best Westerns of all time. I'll be flying solo as host tonight. Jordan Anderson is on assignment this evening, but I'm very happy to be talking tonight about a genre of movies that I've gotten very into over the last 10 years or so that I've become a big fan of. Westerns of all kinds. We're going to be talking about some classics, some more recent stuff, everything in between. It's going to be a really good time, but I cannot ride into the OK Corral without my friends here tonight. So let me bring them in one at a time. Another guy who kind of helped me start rough drafting this thing a long time ago and has been itching to get on here. Dan Skip Allen, our friend. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I am doing great. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. I told you, I said, have you guys done Westerns yet? Could we do a tournament for Westerns? I'm like, we've got it. Oh, no, we haven't. Give me a list. Send me a list over. And I, like that night, I sent you a list of like 80-something Westerns.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we made a few minor adjustments to that, but it was a good list to start with. It gave me a good base. And yeah, I think we got a lot of the different decades covered, a lot of the big stars, a lot of the big ones. But yeah, I know you're excited for it as I am. So yeah, we'll get this thing going. What do you say? Yeah, you got a little Unforgiven behind you. Yeah, nice. Clint could keep an eye on you back there. But yeah, we got some other folks coming in tonight. We got a cowgirl with us tonight. Maria Hammon, how you doing? How's it going, cowgirl?
I'm fine. How are you? Yeah, I should have put
All
cowgirl,
right.
I suppose, instead of cowboy. But
That's right. Cowgirl Maria, you
I'm
can adjust your thing whenever you're ready.
anxious to get started. I grew up on westerns and still watch them now. I'm not as much as I used to, but a lot of things are westerns. They just don't know that they've been taken.
Oh, yeah, no,
Format's
for
been
sure.
taken. The plot's been taken, and they just don't realize that's happened. But
Oh, we've
it's
got a
gonna
few
be fun.
modern ones, and you could definitely, throw in that neo-Western category. That's kind of a new one over the
Yeah,
last decade or so. We got a
yeah.
couple of those in there, so we'll keep an eye out for them.
Sure.
Got our friend Matt Mageau, Mr. Soda. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. This is going to be fun. I'm like the rest of you. I kind of grew up on this in a way. My dad's favorite genre. I didn't watch a lot of westerns with him. I didn't get into it until I was later in life. But there's definitely a few on here that I like that I know is going to be on the list. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for this. We've also got Zach Shelton. Zach, who might be the more casual fan tonight. Maybe we'll win him over with our arguments and convince him to vote one way or the other. But I'm sure he's at least heard of most of these. But how's it going, Zach?
Good. Yeah, I've heard of a good amount. I'm not big into the genre, but I'm always willing to watch more of the genre. But at least I've heard of a good number of them, and just here to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. No, so it's tournament fights. Most of you guys have been on here before. You know how it works. I'll be bringing up all these matchups one at a time. We got 64 movies to cover here this evening, so quite a few to get through. We got 32 initial matchups. Once we get done with the outer brackets, we'll break it down to a speed round to get to those inner brackets to get to a winner. The Elite Eight will be in a poll in the Showdown Friends and Family group. Try your best to keep it to 30 seconds or less pop if we can, just so we can keep a good flow of the show and keep it entertaining for everybody and keep it moving along. I would greatly appreciate it. If you go over 5-10 seconds, I'm not gonna totally hold you to it. I know we're passionate about these movies. Just do the best you can. But I'll start playing spaghetti western sound effects if you don't feel like you're rambling a little bit. I got some of those on standby. So pew pew pew, pew pew, pop house, that sort of thing. So keep it under control. Otherwise, and then we'll have a really good time tonight. All right. So let me go ahead and bring my screen up here and let's get going in. All right. And, well, I feel like we got to get hyped, we got to get ready for a showdown. So before we get to the first matchup. All right. There we go. All right. Now I think we're ready. So first matchup tonight will be Appaloosa versus Tombstone. So we got a classic in there. But what we'll do is we'll start at the bottom. We'll rotate our way up and down here. So Zach Shelton, you will be up first. What do you think about these two? What you got?
I've seen Tombstone before, haven't seen Appaloosa, and I mean, I know Tombstone has one of my favorite actors in it, and that's Kurt Russell. And for all those reasons, I'm going to go with Tombstone.
Sounds good. All right, Mr. Soda.
Oh, I'm definitely going to go with Tombstone, not only because it is the only one of the two I've seen, but this is actually the Western that I've loved the longest. I've loved this one since I was probably about 11, 12 years old. This is just a great movie, great cast. Still gets me to this day. Somewhere back there, I got the Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Tombstone it is. Maria, what you got?
They're both good, but Tombstone definitely. That cast is pretty good. They do a good job with it. There's another similar movie out there with Kevin Costner involved, but it's not as good as this. So,
which I also have somewhere back there.
And Jordan is listening to us tonight, so I think he's driving. Don't type too much while you're driving.
Yeah.
I was
just going to say he's not on the show tonight. He just needs to enjoy the ride.
Driving. Just enjoy us. I got it covered, buddy. I got you covered. But thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Dan, what you got on this one? Appaloosa and Tombstone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Ed Harris fan, but there's some problems with Appaloosa. It's not considered one of the better westerns. But because it's got Ed Harris, it got made and it had some people attached to it. But Tombstone is one of the all-time greats. When people think of great westerns of the modern era, Tombstone is one of them. And it's got, just Bill Paxton, Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Powers Booth. You got Billy Bob Thornton in there as a Weasley character. I mean,
my boy Michael Biehn from Aliens and Terminator.
Michael Biehn is in there. Yeah, it's got an absolute all-time. The director though hasn't done a lot, but this is, made this freaking great film. It's just an absolute classic. Yeah, it's got to be Tombstone.
Just be careful. Just be careful, Jordan. That's all we were saying. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm also going to go with Tombstone here. I'm making a clean sweep. Yeah, it's just one of the most badass westerns ever. Just badass lines left and right. Yeah. That cast, everybody is somebody in this movie. Just character actors left and right. Even in the most minor roles, Billy Zane pops up in there. Like I said, Bill Paxton. just Powers, but everybody is somebody in this movie, and it's so much fun. I think it holds up. Appaloosa is okay. I think good performances, but it's a little wonky. So I will make it a clean sweep for Tombstone.
Stephen Lang, almost unrecognizable as in here, but you don't even recognize him. It's weird.
Yeah, when you have a movie where you have Billy Bob Thornton and he's in like one scene and he's still awesome, you know what I mean? Like it's still an iconic.
Yeah, it's like cameos of future.
Oh, Val Kilmer. We forgot to mention Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. All right,
he's the best.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we'll scroll down. Got a couple of classics here. We got The Wild Bunch and A Fistful of Dollars. So this could be an interesting one here. But we will scoot up to Soda. You'll be up first on this one.
So unfortunately, these two are in my blind spot. So I'm going to go with Fistful of Dollars because I like the poster.
Yeah, I think that's the Arrow video posters. I know I have the $40 more one. And it's very similar to that. And the Fistful of Dollars one is good.
I do think I have it back here. This is one of those I have to sit down and watch.
Actually, here it is right here. There's my Fistful of Dollars. Same one. Boom, right there. Yeah. All right, sounds good. We'll go to Maria. What you got?
Well, first of all, Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah, the first, I believe, outing of really bloody, gruesome, fight scenes, death scenes in that movie for when it was released. It was quite shocking. It was really talked about a lot about how much blood and gore there was in it back in the day. A Fistful of Dollars, another spaghetti type thing, not as good as Good, Bad, and the Ugly, but in the same vein. The Wild Bunch is just memorable for its, I would say, groundbreaking deaths, and then Fistful of Dollars, kind of the minor league. I'm going to go with the Wild Bunch because Fistful of Dollars is very similar to Good, Bad, and Ugly, and it's, spaghetti westerns. Spaghetti westerns are good, but they're not going to win everything. So it's not the greatest one of them. Let's put it that way.
No worries. I get it. We'll talk about my favorite of that bunch when we get there. But Dan.
Yeah, I'm with Maria, actually. I think A Fistful of Dollars is one of the lesser of the trilogy. We all know the best one of the trilogy is of the Dollars trilogy. And The Wild Bunch has got a lot. It's got Ernest Borgnine in it. It's about a bunch of criminals. You don't usually see these westerns, there's always a hero, but this is a bunch of criminals that mess with the wrong guy. And then it's some crazy stuff going on. A lot of violence, a lot of deaths in The Wild Bunch. Just for the heck of it, and because we're going to probably champion one of the other Dollars movies, more than this one. I'm going to go with the Wild Bunch as well.
I just realized why my dad didn't like Clint Eastwood westerns, because he didn't like spaghetti westerns at all. I never really realized that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not his thing. So that's probably why it's my blind spot. Is because I just never was ever around it.
Yeah. No, fair. I was gonna
They're
say
very sweaty.
Yeah,
no, that's what I like about. I love spaghetti westerns. That's my favorite like subgenre of westerns. I was always more of a Clint Eastwood over John Wayne kind of guy. Like we'll kind of get into it. But yeah, I have like all these box sets from Arrow. I got Vengeance Trails. Like it's a box set of spaghetti westerns. It's a great set. I've got the Sartana set, which I didn't really include any of these because most people haven't heard of them. But yeah, this is a set of just another great spaghetti western character. Things like that. I just like them because they're more violent, they're more bloody. They're not afraid to like kill people and take risks. And yeah, all the soundtracks are always great. The scores and all that kind of stuff. I just dig them. I think they got a vibe to them. Now, having said that, I might actually go with the Wild Bunch on this one because again, Fistful of Dollars is my least favorite of the trilogy. Not to say it's bad, but I like Peckinpah's style too. He has a very similar style where it's like more of the modern style western, but it's got the violence of a spaghetti western, and I dig it. So I'll actually go with the Wild Bunch here. Zach?
I haven't heard of the Wild Bunch, but I have heard of a Fistful of Dollars, and just based on what everybody has said, I'm going to also go with the Wild Bunch. Okay,
fair enough. So the Wild Bunch will actually take this one. Sounds good. And we'll scroll down to Stagecoach, very early one, and the Revenant. So this could be an interesting one. Stagecoach, just before anybody votes, yeah, it's basically the one of the biggest kind of earliest stunts of all time with the getting dragged under the actual stagecoach. The inspiration for the Raiders, it was the inspiration for the Raiders of the Lost Ark under the thing. Steven Spielberg loved Stagecoach, and he was a big fan of that. That's where
John Wayne's first big film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's very early, 1939, right? Something like that, or 1940. Very early. Yeah, but Maria, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, it's 1939, and John Wayne and Claire Trevor are the protagonists of the film. John Wayne, that face, first time you get to see it when he turns around. I mean, the direction was, pretty good. I had made some notes about it because I thought it might come up. But it's John Ford. He and John Wayne are like this. Or actually, Mary and Michael Morrison is John Wayne. But they did a great thing with it. They started the genre. They put the blueprint out there that everybody's taken since then. And as Austin so wisely said, that horse stunt, Hezu Hayakawa, I think is the guy's name, was a stunt man, and he did it. They built a trench underneath, and he went all the way backwards, and nobody knew what was going on, and it was amazing, apparently. So when I saw it, I was about, 5 or 6. My dad loved it. I mean, he watched it all the time if he could. So it's a good movie. I think it's The Revenant. Leo DiCaprio finally gets an Oscar, because if you eat, bear meat or you get cut up or whatever, you finally get to win. And it's good. It's not a scenery. It's a whole long movie with a lot of scenery. I don't care for it, honestly. I'll be frank with you. I find it just tedious forever on this movie. Give me a break. Let's go find the kid. If you don't find the kid's dead. Kill the guy. Let's get going. It's like throwing the ring in the fire. I could take it up that more, a lot quicker than Frodo could. So anyway, that's where I feel about it. I'm going to go with Stagecoach. It's a classic. It's the first one really that started the whole thing. So.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm a defender of The Revenant. I absolutely love The Revenant. I think Leo's great. Tom Hardy's great. Domhnall Gleeson great. Cinematography's great. The set production, the costumes and the makeup and all that stuff is great. But that being said, I've seen Stagecoach multiple times. I've seen it. And you saw I had the Criterion right there. And I love Stagecoach. It's one of the first collaborations between John Ford and John Wayne. And we all know their collaborations are just some amazing films they've worked on together. So unfortunately for Leo and Inarritu, which I don't believe The Revenant is, I like a couple of his other films better. I'm going to go with Stagecoach.
Yeah, I might follow the lead here because, I do like The Revenant. I like it a lot. I rewatched it about a year ago. It was great. Yeah, I mean, the cinematography alone is holy shit. All the natural lighting in that movie is spectacular. It makes for a great Blu-ray watch. But at least for this first round, let's show some love to kind of one of the big ones that really got things started. And we got to give some love to at least a few of the classics in here. So I'll also go Stagecoach. Zach?
My vote is for the Revenant. I haven't seen Stagecoach, but I did see the Revenant in theaters, and I've really enjoyed everything that I watched about it. It's not my favorite Leo performance, but I really enjoyed everything that I saw. So my vote would be for the Revenant.
Yeah. So
Revenant's fine, good movie, just not for me. Stagecoach, while I haven't seen it, I mean, I gotta pay respects for everything you guys said. It's the one that set the stage pretty much for the big budget Western. It's the first time we saw John Wayne as a big star on screen. It's got its rightful place in history. So give it to Stagecoach.
yeah, all right. Stagecoach will take this one, and we'll scroll on down to True Grit, the original with John Wayne, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs with Coen Brothers. Which we saw a couple of clips of in that montage at the beginning. So, yeah, I'll go to Dan this time.
I'll tell you what. I think the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is a fantastic anthology film, and it's got some segments that are better than other segments. I am a massive fan of. Oh God! This is what happens all the time. The main guy, Buster Scruggs,
Tim Blake Nelson.
Blake Nelson. I would literally watch him in anything. The guy is an amazing, amazing actor. The Liam Neeson one, I think Liam Neeson's in one of them, and then Dudley Dursley's in one of them. I like it, but it's not the best Coen Brothers Western. We're going to get to some of those, and I've got to go with the original True Grit. I just think this is an all-time classic. John Wayne is incredible as Rooster Cogburn, and we're going to get to the other one eventually here. But this is still a freaking great, great, great movie, and I have to go with the original True Grit.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm a much bigger fan of the remake of True Grit than the OG one. I think the remake just blows it out of the water. I think it's amazing. Yeah, so I mean that one's going to be hard to beat tonight, at least for the initial round or two. But I might show a little love to Buster Scruggs just because I love anthology movies, like horror anthology movies, and the fact that they did a Western anthology was just so unique and kind of cool, and I kind of dug it. So yeah, I mean, I know not everybody's a big fan of it. I like it more and more the more I watch it. So I'll show it some love. We'll see what happens, but I'll be okay if the original True Grit's still good. If it goes through, I'll be fine with that. But Zach,
I mean, I haven't seen either, but I have heard good things about the original True Grit. More than I have about Buster Scruggs. So for me, I would go with True Grit.
Yeah, True Grit sounds good. All right, so
I actually haven't seen either of these, but True Grit, I mean, it's the movie that got John Wayne his Oscar finally. It's, I've seen the remake. I like the remake, and I think if I'm mistaken, the only one on this panel who's read the book. Yes, but so for this purposes, I'm going to give it to True Grit because it's the movie that got John Wayne his Oscar.
Totally, yeah.
Is anybody ignoring the elephant in the room? This is the first time John Wayne played this kind of character. He never played a filthy, dirty, kind of, God knows, morally
drunk,
bankrupt
a degenerate
character in a movie. I mean, it's unbelievable. What were you saying, Soda?
The closest one would have been The Searchers.
Yeah. The thing is, this is historically important for John Wayne. I mean, this is his first time breaking out of that. I'm the good guy. I'm the Green Beret. I'm the whatever. I'm going to save the world. Here we go. Let's, same plot over and over and over. He was magnificent in this movie. And his take as Rooster Cogburn, just unbelievable. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And you can throw that other garbage, Jeff Bridges, with John Wayne wannabe, whatever he is. He did not do anywhere near this performance. This thing is historically accurate for John Wayne's, not accurate, historically important for John Wayne's career.
Yeah.
It's historically important for his, his future. And getting an Oscar for it, totally deserved. Nobody's seen him do anything like this. So this film is very important, and it has to stay in. So there, Austin.
Okay, fair enough. So wait. It looks like next round we might get a John Wayne versus John Wayne. So we'll see what happens.
We might.
We could get a couple of those types of matchups tonight. We got Unforgiven versus Westworld. So yeah, it starts with me tonight. So my dad introduced me to Westworld. He's a big sci-fi fan, and he showed me a lot of like old sci-fi, especially 70s sci-fi. He loves that stuff. He put me on a lot of that in old war movies. So yeah, I dig Westworld with Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner's just so damn cool. Like he's the perfect casting for this cowboy robot, that goes haywire, starts shooting people. It's great. However, yeah, Unforgiven is kind of one of the best movies ever. So it's like, it's an unfortunate thing for Westworld. If it was up against something else here or there, I'd go against it. But that's the randomizer. Again, these are all random. I threw them into the wheel and just spun it. But yeah, tough matchup here for Westworld. But I'm gonna go Unforgiven. So kind of an anti-Western, and I dig it. Zach.
I've actually seen both of these, and I'm going to go with Westworld just because it's something different and unique. And kind of for that, I think Unforgiven is really good, but I was more drawn to Westworld, so Westworld is my choice.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm going to give it to Unforgiven because it's one of the true great Westerns. It's one of Clint Eastwood's best movies, one of Gene Hackman's best movies. Fuck, it's one of everyone's best movies in that film.
Morgan Freeman, everybody.
Yeah, Westworld. I remember the original VHS cover in my local video store scared the crap out of me when I was a kind of child because it was missing. He was missing the face. Didn't know why. So I still never seen it.
Yeah. All right. No, sounds good. Right.
Westworld. First time that concept ever was developed, the idea that these people were robots doing things that seemed impossible to do. It was very mind-blowing at the time, but Unforgiven, I still say the one line he says, it's a hell of a thing to kill a man, to take away everything he ever was or ever will be. It's just iconic. It's Clint at his very best, teaching someone young that this isn't all fun and games to being the bad guy. And he'd gotten out of the life, came back, and then they killed Morgan Freeman and that freaking Gene Hackman. Yeah. So I think it's really good. I love it, and I like Westworld too. Though there's nothing wrong with Westworld. In fact, the series took it way past what it could have even imagined even then.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good concept, really good thing. But Unforgiven is just right up there with the best of the best. So I'm gonna go for Unforgiven. Which I hate this. Good, having to choose.
I wonder what he's going to vote for with the poster right behind him. You're voting for Westworld, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. What this is, when I saw this match, I was like, oh, good. I'm glad Unforgiven is got a walk into the second round here. Unforgiven is one of the greatest films of all time, not just Westerns, in my opinion. It's in my top 5 films of all time. It just turns the Western on its head. It makes the bad guy the good guy and the good guy the bad guy. We got English Bob and we got Morgan Freeman hanging from a bar, and we got guys getting shot in canyons, and we got some just crazy, crazy stuff going on. And the story where Clint Eastwood had this about 15, 20 years before he actually made it, and he says he wasn't old enough to play the character, and he wanted to wait till he was old enough to play this character, and he finally did it, and he won everything. He won director, best picture, and this is the last, and obviously this is my opinion, the last great Western we've had, and we haven't had a Western come close to being this great. And probably 20, 30 years before this, there hasn't been one that equals this, in my opinion. And this is probably the greatest Western in the last 50 years, easily. Unforgiven all day long, every day of the week.
All right. Sounds good. Unforgiven. All right. Scrolling down to High Noon, another movie I know you're a fan of, Dan, has in mind. High Noon versus Hostels with Christian Bale. Yeah. So we'll go to Zach this time.
I've heard of both of them. I've recently, I think, seen the trailer for Hostels, and it does intrigue me. So for that, I'm going to go with Hostels, but it's a close matchup.
Soda.
I haven't seen either, but I'm going to give it to High Noon because my dad likes it.
Okay, Dad votes for High Noon. All right, Maria.
High Noon. Are you kidding me? Over Hostels. It's so clear. High Noon is one of the best Westerns of all time. In the top 5. It's a story it's been emulated, been copied, been redone. In fact, Sean Connery has one in space. The Space on High Noon. I forgot the name of the movie, but it's the same exact premise. The lone lawman against the big gang. Is any in the town going to help him? No. He has to do it alone. But he still does it because he's the lawman. He can turn tail and run, but he doesn't do that. I mean, Gary Cooper's fabulous in this movie. This has to win, at least the top, whatever, echelon. Hostiles, I don't even know what it's about. Don't care. There's nothing that can beat High Noon. So I'm sorry.
And let's not forget, like, not a lot of people might know this movie, but a lot of people know what High Noon is and the concept of High Noon is, and it's because of this movie.
Well, the concept of this movie High Noon has been ripped off on other movies as well.
Yeah.
With the same type of concept. 3 O'Clock High is a direct kind of remake of that, which was then remade into Fist Fight. It's the same concept essentially as High Noon. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I absolutely adore this film. This is one of my. I don't want to give any kind of thing, but when we did the rankings, I ranked every one of the westerns when I helped Austin make up the bracket, and I had a number one ranking. And guess what was the number one ranking? It was High Noon, number one ranking of the bracket that I gave Austin. That's a little behind the scenes stuff you normally don't get to see. But Gary Cooper is phenomenal in this. Lon Chaney Jr. is amazing as the old sheriff.
That's right.
My thumbs don't work. I can't help you. Lloyd Bridges is in there, and he wants to be the sheriff. And this guy's about to get married and go out of town. And then he finds out Frank Miller, not the comic book artist, but Frank Miller is coming back on the noon train, getting out of prison, and he goes around the whole town looking for help, and nobody will help him. He has to fend off these 4 guys by himself. Grace Kelly, one of her earlier, so amazing in this. Just an absolute classic, phenomenal film. I can't say enough about High Noon. All day, every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I actually, Dan, got to see High Noon in a theater about 10 years ago, which was very cool. That was my first viewing of it. Thank you to Cinemark and their series of classic movies. I got to see this in a theater. It was great. I love a good One Crazy Day movie, which is kind of what it is. It's just a one crazy day. He's got, it's a time limit. There's you feel the tension, from the first moment of him. There's literally a clock. He's got a time. He's trying to figure it out. I got my Olive Signature Blu-ray right here. It's a great Blu-ray. The movie looks amazing. It's good stuff here. I think
Austin, I forgot to say, I absolutely I'm a big fan of Scott Cooper, and I like Hostiles a lot. Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, but it just, in this comparison, this is no comparison. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and High Noon also noteworthy. A very, very young Lee Van Cleef in this movie is one of the outlaws as well. A guy who we will see tonight, who's one of my favorite Western actors, who I love in a lot of spaghetti westerns. So, but yeah,
he's really a nice guy, but he doesn't look it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, he plays a bad guy a lot, but he plays a hero a lot too. So, all right, High Noon. We'll move on in this one, and we'll scroll down to this one I added. Speaking of Lee Van Cleef, Take a Hard Ride. It's a blaxploitation western that I love, with Fred the Hammer Williamson and Jim Kelly, Lee Van Cleef, against There Will Be Blood. So a little more of a neo modern western here. Basoda.
There Will Be Blood. Oh, thank you. Yeah. There you go.
No, fair enough. Maria.
I don't know Take a Hard Ride at all. It looks like something I have to watch. I love I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and all those, black exploitation films, the old. But I despise Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's the same cast. It's a black exploitation western.
Is it?
Exactly
Okay. It cool.
It's really fun. It's not like a great movie, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, I can't stand Daniel Day-Lewis. I find him pretentious. He's Oscar winner, whatever. He sounds like a douche to me. I stay in character the whole time. You have to call me Mr. I'll call you whatever I want to, dude, if I'm in your film. But anyway, that's me. I don't know Take a Hard Ride, but I'm going to vote for it because I don't want to vote for him. I don't like him.
Okay. No, fair
It's good. It might be an okay film. I just can't stand him. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah, this is a very rare. This is a very rare blank spot for me, and I'm a fan of like Coffee and all these kind of blaxploitation type films. Austin, I just for whatever reason I have not seen this one, and Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano are both phenomenal in There Will Be Blood. I'm not the biggest fan of There Will Be Blood. I'm just not, and I've had this discussion with Malcolm and those guys on the Paul Dano episode but I still have to recognize greatness, and this is a great film with great performances, and so I have to go with There Will Be Blood, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, just because I think I know where this is going, I threw it in there. I'm gonna vote for Take a Hard Ride. I take it. There Will Be Blood's awesome, but I have to be in the right mood to watch it. Yeah, I first was aware of this movie. I was at like a art house theater, and they were playing just like random, trailers. I think we were gonna watch Shaft or something like that. So they were playing a bunch of blaxploitation trailers. They played the trailer for this, and it was great. And I sought it out. It's on YouTube, by the way. You can watch it. It's kind of hard to find, but it's on YouTube. So I'll give it to that, but I kind of know where this is going. We'll see, Zach.
I haven't heard of Take a Hard Ride, but I definitely have heard of There Will Be Blood. It looks very intense, in my opinion, but Daniel Day-Lewis is a very good actor, so for that, I'm going to go with There Will Be Blood.
See, there you go. So I figured I knew where it was going. I had to Take a Hard Ride. It came up. This matchup came up a while ago. Oh well.
I didn't think mine would go, but that's funny.
See what happens. Got Rio Bravo, John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson against The Great Silence. That's a Klaus Kinski spaghetti western. That's very brutal. So Maria.
I think I don't know The Great Silence. I don't think I've seen that. That's hard to believe. I mean, my dad, seriously, I don't know how old it is, but my dad was into all that stuff. Rio Bravo, I've seen countless times because it's on all the time on the Western Channel. I don't know if you get that, but, my husband watches them too. I know Rio Bravo for, it's great. He's defending stuff. There's Ricky Nelson in it, which I don't understand that at all, but whatever. I guess I'll vote for it because I don't know The Great Silence, but I will investigate that because I feel stupid that I don't.
No, you're fine. Yeah, again, these are just good spaghetti westerns. I wanted to shout out, on this one. I want to shout out the good ones. Not the super corny. I know Take Over Ride's like one of the cornier ones. I get it, but I wanted to, shout out some of the good ones on here. So, fair enough, Dan.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Another blank spot for me. I have not seen The Great Silence, and I got the 4K of Rio Bravo coming in the mail. Another great western, so I got to go with Rio Bravo.
Okay, yeah, no fair. Yeah, I watched Rio Bravo for the first time about 6 months ago because I also bought the Blu-ray. Gotta be honest, it didn't do a lot for me. I thought it was okay. It had some good performances. I'm not the biggest like John Wayne Western guy. Like it just those movies kind of drag for me. Like I think again I gravitate towards the violence and the grim nature of the spaghetti westerns more than like the all right guys we got a band together against the outlaws kind of western. It's like yeah. I get why people like it. It's not as much for me. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to crap on them. Like Rio Bravo's a well-made movie. I get it, but I'll give some love to The Great Silence. It's Sergio Corbucci, who also did a ton of spaghetti westerns, much like Sergio Leone. And yeah, they're all very similar in style, and they're really really good. I'm not going to say like they're fun per se because they're all very dark, but it's a good movie. So I'll give it to that. Zach.
I've heard of Rio Bravo. I haven't heard of The Great Silence, but I'm going to go with Great Silence just because the poster kind of gets me, but also I feel like, especially in westerns, like John Wayne is just. I feel like maybe there's just too much of him, and Great Silence just seems like something different. So for that, I'm going to go with The Great Silence.
Yeah, and just one quick note: Sergio Corbucci, who did The Great Silence, also directed the original Django, which will be in this tournament.
It says right there on the poster.
Yeah, exactly. The director of Django. Yeah, no, that's why I like it. So good.
Yeah, like everyone else, I've never heard of The Great Silence. Rio Bravo is one I did see later in life. Really liked it, but it's also one of the ones my dad watched the most as a child. So I'm gonna give it to Rio Bravo.
No, it's a total dad western, that's for sure.
Oh,
you know what I mean? This is the dad western, and I get it.
100%. And my dad was born in 1950, so he grew up on these anyways. So
yeah, and just for anybody watching, again, some of these spaghetti westerns, I just want to shout out the standout good ones. You know what I mean? So even if they don't make it, I'm cool with that. I get it. So it's all good. We got Back to the Future 3 against How the West Was Won. So there we go. And we'll start with Dan this time.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, guys. One of my favorite westerns of all time is How the West Was Won. And I know, it's not really a straight western. It's an anthology western. Yeah, but if you analyze all the stories within it, they're all very interesting. One's about a cattle drive, and one's about, they're all different stories, and they're all in this movie. But each of the stories has phenomenal actors playing all the different characters in all the various movies. Henry Fonda's in here. I mean, I can't name the whole freaking cast of people that are in there. But the thing about this movie that's incredible is it's got a freaking amazing score, and the cinematography is off the chain. It makes you literally fall in love with the West. It is so gorgeous. There's rivers and mountains and streams and plains and hills, and it's just like gorgeous.
All kinds of terrain, huh?
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This, if I would love to live in this world that how the West was won.
Well, except for scalpings and all that other stuff.
Well, whatever. I'll get some meat somehow. But I think this movie is amazing. So I'm going to go. I'm sorry. I think the lesser of the Back to the Future films is the third one, and I think all the West was won is just amazing. So I'm going with that one.
Yeah, I've seen How the West Was Fun, by the way, Malcolm, as well. That used to come on a lot, Disney Channel a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not in this tournament. I apologize.
How the West Was Fun.
How the West was fun. No, it's I've seen How the West Was Won. Again, it's a long, pretty epic movie. I dig it. But I have grown to appreciate Back to the Future 3 more and more as an adult, especially because since then I've become a fan of the Clint Eastwood Western and stuff, and there's so many tributes, obviously, with him wearing the poncho and all the character actors in this movie. Like Matt Clark is in like so many Westerns. He's the bartender, and then he's also in like High Plains Drifter as like the barber, and like you got Pat Buttram who's in every one of these movies, and like Harry Jr.
I love Pat Buttram.
Richard Dysart who's in a bunch of these movies, like and you're going to appreciate that after you've watched a lot of these Westerns and you see these guys pop up, and then you show the love that they had. Mad Dog Tannen is kind of, I've heard things where he was inspired by the man who shot Liberty Valance, with that performance. So, I mean, I'll give some love to that. I think it's better than people give it credit for, and I love all the tributes in it. So we'll see what happens here, though. Zach?
I've heard of both of these. I've definitely seen Back to the Future Part 3, and I'm going to go with Back to the Future Part 3 because this is just a fun, entertaining movie that you can just sit down and just enjoy yourself with. So for that, I'm going with Back to the Future Part 3.
Okay. Yeah, so
even if I had have seen How the West Was Won, I would have still voted for Back to the Future. I just love the trilogy as a whole. This, I agree, is probably the lesser, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. It's got great moments, great homages. It's nice to see the dynamic between Doc and Marty flipped around. This one, it's Doc that's in love. It's Back to the Future 3. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, here's a hot take. I don't like How the West Was Won. I think it's kind of tedious. It takes freaking ever to get done. There's a lot of people in it, but I don't think the cinematography is that great. I didn't think the scenery was that great. I mean, look at In a Rig to it in today's kind of filming. I've been to the hole in the wall down there on the Ohio riverbank on the Illinois side and gone into the cave and looked around. I'm like, they can have lived here. It's not even big enough. I'm sorry. I'm not in love with it. I do, however, want to support Marty, and the great gang from Back to the Future. So I'm going to vote for Back to the Future 3, even though that is, to me, the lesser of all three. And I don't love it as much as the first two, but it's still good. So I'm sorry. I never did like when I was a kid. That thing was on TV all the time. Oh my God, get off the TV with this thing. It took forever.
You guys
sorry.
Well, sorry, the classics can't win every time, Dan. Sorry.
I know. That's fine.
We're pretty much on the same page mostly, but not on that one.
Yeah,
wow, that's crazy.
No Country for Old Men, again, speaking of neo-westerns, gets Shane, which is one I added in because he's kind of a pretty iconic Western character, Shane. So, I'll go first. Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't gone back to No Country for Old Men a lot. Again, I'm kind of hit or miss on the Coens. But yeah, this movie's really, really good. And again, you see a lot of the Western influences throughout it once you've seen a bunch of them. I might show some love to Shane, though. Again, it's an interesting journey and a character study here, and got a really iconic kind of ending. So I'll show some love to Shane, but I don't mind if No Country goes through. Zach?
I've heard of both movies. I haven't seen either, but I have heard a lot of good things about Shane. So for that, I'm going with Shane.
Okay. So
No Country for Old Men's a blind spot for me, so I can't vote for that one. But I'm going to give it to Shane, not only because of his iconic status. I love George Stevens as a director. Giant is one of my favorite films. And also because, I can't vote for its remake, Logan, so why not give it to Shane?
we'll see Giant later in this tournament. Maria?
I didn't like Shane. I don't like Alan Ladd. Never did. It's well known that he's very, very short. They put boxes beside the horses to make him look tall, and the protagonist get him on the horse even. But No Country for Old Men is really spooky and frightening. That Javier Bardem does such a great job with that character. It's unbelievable. I'm going to break tradition for. Sorry, I'm going to vote for No Country for Old Men.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
That's me.
Dan?
Wow, you guys are unbelievable. No Country for Old Men is phenomenal. This is clearly the best of all the Coen Brothers westerns. This thing, Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh, is incredible. He won the Oscar. He won Best Picture. They won Best Director. Woody Harrelson's amazing. Josh Brolin was having an incredible year that year, and this capped it off for him. I mean, what a phenomenal year. This movie is a neo-western that is so freaking good that the money, that the guys get killed, they leave the money, he gets the money, and the whole movie they're trying to get the money, and his wife's like, no, get rid of the money, get out. And he's gonna fight these guys off. Oh my God, I can't believe you guys aren't going for No Country for Old Men. This movie's incredible. And
I can't vote for I haven't seen.
line at the end. It's got the classic line.
Yeah, Shane cries a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on, you want a crybaby western at the end, or do you want one of the classic?
Can't stand Alan Ladd. I just don't like him.
Phenomenal. With one of the great villains of all time, Javier Bardem and Anton Chigurh. Come on, guys, somebody switch, please.
No, sorry. It's not going to win this time, Dan. Can't win them all. Shane goes through 3-2. All right, we'll go with the shootist, his last Western. So we got John Wayne versus Clint Eastwood here against Pale Rider. Zach, go first.
I haven't heard of the shootist, but I have heard of Pale Rider, and for that, I'm going to go with Pale Rider.
Okay.
Oh, shit. This is actually a tough one. Fuck it. You know what? I'm going to give it to Pale Rider just because I can't sign another two, so I'm going to go with it for this reason. I remember staring at the VHS tape when I was a kid because my dad has it and going, this is one of the coolest posters I've ever seen. So I'm going to give it to it for that reason. That's my fucking tiebreaker.
No, fair enough. Maria.
Well, picked the wrong side, guys. The Shootist, John Wayne's last movie. Touching. He's an old cowboy with cancer, and he goes to die and reminisce and make new friends in a way, but not, it's sad, it's poignant, I cried my eyes out. I mean, he does such a great job with it, which is kind of amazing because he wasn't necessarily known for his tender side, but he did have a funny side, but I didn't know anything about him being a tender and, nice person at the end. It's really, really good movie, and it deserves to be recognized. And Pale Rider, Clint Eastwood's got a million. I mean, Clint Eastwood was being a cowboy before he was on TV, before he was ever on a movie set. So he's got a lot of experience and a lot of movies about being a cowboy, and so does John Wayne, but I think this is really one of his best. I'm going to vote for the Shootist.
Yeah, unfortunately, Maria, I have to go for Pale Rider here. As a kid,
I get you.
10 years old when I saw Pale Rider, and I was just absolutely blown away by the performance. I think he's in this one. He's the preacher, is what his character's name is, I believe, right? And he comes to this town and he helps this guy out because these guys are bullying him and stuff, and he beats up these guys. And it's like 3 of these type of movies, like Outlaw Josie Wales, this one, Pale Rider, and what's the other one? That's
I know what the one you're talking. I'm thinking of. I think Drifter. That's the one. Well,
these 3 are just so similar and a lot of similar. And it was like that trilogy of like, I freaking love that trilogy of movies with him. But the one that I love the most of the 3 was High Plains Drifter. I think it's got what's his face from one of the CSIs. Not he's like one of the police, the lawyer in one of the procedurals.
Right.
You see, what's his name? He's the farmer in it and stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see some of these guys that were on TV for many, many years, and then they play these characters all these years before. Pale Rider all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go Pale Rider. I mean, it just comes
Sorry,
down to
John.
if you put a Clint Eastwood Western and a John Wayne Western in front of me, I'm gonna pick Eastwood 10 out of 10 times. I just am. Yeah, he's more up my alley, and his movies are just have the style I like more. So I get the shootist, it's the significance of the being the last one he made before he died. I get it. But again, Eastwood versus Wayne, I take Eastwood all day. So Pale Rider. All right. Go to Magnificent Seven, the remake, versus the Missouri Breaks. Jack Nicholson, Marlon Brando. So we'll start with Soto on this one.
I've never heard of Missouri Breaks, so
Dan,
yeah.
I'll tell you all about it when we get to him.
I'm going to go with Magnificent Seven then. Not as good as the original, but still, with pretty good cast, and it's a decent film. So I'll give it to that one.
Yeah, fair enough. Maria.
Missouri Breaks I've seen. I'm not impressed with Marlon Brando, even in his films that made him famous. He doesn't do anything for me. And Jack Nicholson is inherently evil. That's the only way he could play some of the characters he plays. But the Magnificent Seven remake, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, the first one is phenomenal, but Denzel does a pretty good job selling that cowboy thing he's got going on there. And Chris Pratt's good. Unexpected end for him. And also the guy that plays. I forgot his name right now. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Amazing turn for him. I thought he was excellent. In fact, I think I actually wrote a fan letter. That's how stupid I am. But I like it a lot. I think I'll go with the Magnificent Seven remake.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw this pop up, I was checking my email and I came back to it, and I said, "Oh, the Missouri Breaks was Magnificent Seven." Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's Marlon Brando with Jack Nicholson doing a western. This is kind of the thing that got Marlon Brando to basically boycott the Academy Awards and send Sacheen Littlefeather up there to accept his award for The Godfather, is because he got to work with Native American people, and he had this kind of epiphany where he wanted to support the Native American people. I know a lot of people haven't seen the Missouri Breaks, and I understand. And it's just not the best Jack Nicholson movie or the best Marlon Brando movie. I just thought it was strange that Marlon Brando and Jack Nicholson did a movie together, and it was a Western. So I always thought that was pretty cool. And I'm a fan of it, but I'm with you guys. I will say I'm with you guys. I mean, I think Antoine Fuqua, Denzel, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio. What's her name's brother?
Eric Roberts?
Skarsgård.
No. That one. Oh. What is his name?
Peter Skarsgård's nasty. He plays
the villain.
Character.
Yeah.
He's nasty.
Bill. Isn't it Bill?
Really good job with it, which is kind of strange that he would get. But I mean, obviously, he got a great cast to sign on for the Magnificent Seven remake. I don't like remakes of classics, but this is one of the better ones I've seen. And even though I like Missouri Breaks, and I know a lot of people haven't seen it, I'm going to go with the Magnificent Seven remake.
Yeah, no, this is one of my blind spots on the list tonight. Yeah, I just haven't seen the Missouri Breaks yet. If I'd had more time before that Nicholson episode we did that Jack Nicholson episode, I probably would have watched it for that, but I didn't get a chance to. So it just is what it is. But I think that Magnificent Seven remake is actually very, very good. Yeah, they did a good job with it. Yeah, Western remakes tend to be okay for the most part. Pretty good. I think they take good care of them. And then, oh my God, the final shootout, it's like 45 minutes. It's bonkers.
I know, yeah.
So, I'll go with Magnificent Seven, Zach.
I'm going to make this short and sweet. I haven't heard of Missouri Breaks, but I did see Magnificent Seven, the remake, in theaters, and I did enjoy it. So, Magnificent Seven remake.
All right, clean sweet for that one. All right, scoot on down to Bone Tomahawk. It's the Sisters Brothers. All right, so two more modern ones here. Maria.
Well, Bone Tomahawk. I was surprised at how freaking. Whoops, sorry. This woman started talking on the IMDb here. I was keeping it up so I can remind myself about some of these facts. Yeah, I thought it was pretty brutal. I thought, Kurt Russell's fantastic in anything he's in, I think. I haven't seen anything bad that I would say, hey, Demi, you sucked in that and get out of business. But I don't know this other one, Sisters and Brothers. I don't know anything about that. Maybe I should have
The
done some more
sisters
research.
brothers.
Sisters
Oh, the
Brothers.
Sisters
Yeah,
Brothers. Okay.
it's a
Well, I'll
decent
have
one.
to
Yeah,
figure
it's
that
pretty
one
good.
out. Yeah. But I know Bone Tomahawk. It's pretty good, but I mean, I was surprised at how where they went with it. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
kind of cannibal like stuff going on. So anyway,
Mhm.
that's what I'll vote for that because I've seen it, but the other one I'll definitely check into.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dan.
I heard, you know, it was one of these ones where I didn't necessarily get to Bone Tomahawk right away because I couldn't find it when it was playing, and
Right.
finally I found it on Blu-ray or something, or streaming or somewhere, like maybe a couple of weeks or a month after it came out or something like that. I don't know how what would happen, but wow, is this bloody? I mean, there is very rarely westerns that are this gory and bloody, and there's some craziness. You got what's his face from Lost in there, and you got Patrick Wilson in there, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You got some other guys from TV in there. You're like, wow, look at all these TV guys playing in this movie together with these guys, and it's like Kurt Russell. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
I have to show love for the Sisters Brothers here because it's John C. Reilly, Joaquin Phoenix, and then there's Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed in there.
Really?
And it's so good, but it's got like guys getting bit by snakes in the Old West. It's so gritty and realistic. It like guys are getting sick from various diseases. It's like, wow, somebody's doing the West, and they actually are doing the West the way the West actually was. And it was probably one of the most realistic Westerns I have not said. I've never lived in the Old West, so I can't really say. But from what I've seen, I'm told and read about the West, the Sisters Brothers is so realistic to the Old West, and it's got an amazing cast. And I got to show love for the Sisters Brothers. And I freaking Joaquin Phoenix that year had a great year.
Yeah, no, I watched Sisters Brothers for the Joaquin Phoenix rankum we did with Malcolm a few months back, and yeah, no, it's a good, solid movie. Yeah, I love seeing John C. Reilly in more serious roles. I think he's a great actor. He's a really underrated actor. It was good. God damn it, I'm a horror fan and a Western fan. And you give me a horror Western with Bone Tomahawk, and it's brutal and it's awesome. You know, and
Pretty
it's
brutal,
great.
that's for sure.
And Kurt Russell is in one of my favorite Tarantino movie, The Hateful Eight, which is great. And, we'll see that in a little bit. And he's still rocking the same awesome mustache in this movie. And he's just the man. And come on, the opening scene has Sid Haig. It's Captain freaking Spaulding. So Bone Tomahawk for me. He's going to take it. Or Zach?
I haven't seen either of these, but I've heard of both of them. Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors, and Bone Tomahawk has been on my list to see, actually higher than the Sisters Brothers. So for that, I'm going with Bone Tomahawk.
Okay. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I've only heard of the Sisters Brothers, so yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Bone Tomahawk because it's an underrated Western. It's it's definitely it's a hidden gem, like the Count of Monte Cristo is a hidden gem. And plus, holy shit, you're right, it's gory as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you see it, we won't spoil it. But the scene.
You don't want to eat right before it.
You'll know when you see it. It's that scene.
You're like,
yeah, that's all I gotta say. So what I threw in there last minute for you guys: Shanghai Noon against Hell or High Water.
oh no, oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Don't do
that's where it popped in. Unfortunately, so I threw it in there, but we'll see if it makes it. Dan, you're up first.
No, please.
Yeah, I'm champion neo westerns like No Country for Old Men and some of these more modern westerns, and I think one of the best ones, if not the best one, is Hell or High Water, where
You're right.
it's Taylor Sheridan has created an entire universe on Paramount Plus right now of westerns, and he's got this neo-western trilogy and Wind River, Sicario, and Hell or High Water. If you haven't seen the other two in this neo-western trilogy that he's done, but the one that's really good, Jeff Bridges is incredible. Chris Pine is incredible. I think Ben
Chris Pine is amazing.
Ben Foster should have been nominated for Oscar for this.
Exactly,
movie.
he played unbelievable.
Should have won an Oscar for 310 to Yuma, but that's not a whole thing to I forget about that. I mean, he doesn't even get nominated, let alone get one. But I am a massive fan of Hell or High Water, and I think this got people to where, okay, Taylor Sheridan, you know what the hell you're doing. So I'm
That's
going
true.
with Hell or High Water.
No, for sure.
Not big
Uh,
on comedy. I'm not big on Western comedies, even though there are a few great ones like Stir Crazy, but I'm not really big on the Shanghai trilogy either. So that's why I'm definitely not going to go for Shanghai Noon. Sorry.
No, there is a Western comedy on this bracket that is my favorite comedy of all time. We'll get there.
Yeah,
So we'll talk about it.
I knew it was.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but when we get there. But yeah, Hell or High Water is the best of these neo westerns for sure. Yeah, it's incredible. This is a really great Jeff Bridges performance. Yeah, he's doing his thing, and yeah, oh my God, Ben Foster's fantastic in this movie. So yeah, Shanghai Noon's all right. I think it's fun for what it is while you're watching it. But you know, it's a breezy Sunday watch, but it ain't Hell or High Water. So no Hell or High Water. Zach.
I've seen both of these. To me, and I don't hate me for saying this, I think Hell or High Water is good, but I didn't love it. And I really enjoyed Shanghai Noon. I will say this though, and maybe this is just me, but if you've ever seen the Schmodown, Jeff Bridges' partner looks exactly like John Roca.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
but I might be in the minority, but I'm going with Shanghai Noon.
All right.
Wow.
Soda.
You are not in the minority, my friend, because while I enjoy Hell or High Water, this one comes down to rewatchability for me, and I will rewatch Shanghai Noon more often than I will watch Hell or High Water because, unlike Dan here, I love comedy westerns. So,
Yeah. All right. Wow.
Fair enough. Maria.
You guys are wrong. Just kidding. Just want to say that. I've never said that before. Hell or High Water. Are you serious right now? Chris Pine, I didn't know he had that kind of chops in him. I've seen him in Star Trek, goofy, kind of, serious, not great, great actor. But I mean, I thought he blew me away in this thing, and so did Ben Foster. Ben Foster is, I remember him in 6 Feet Under, being kind of a goofy kind of, pining after the young girl in that series. I forgot her name even, but the way this is told, I mean, it's really a story of, America, breaking down, having the crisis in the oil and all this other stuff, and all these people losing their homes and tricking this lady out of her home. And he is perfect in the plot that he's got. It's just his brother's a little wild, and things don't go as they think, and somebody gets killed. But I loved it. I thought it was great. The tension between Jeff Bridges and Chris Pine near the end, in that scene where they're talking about the situations they both know happened, but neither one of them can prove yet. I mean, it's just, I loved it. I thought it was great. And Shanghai Noon, I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff either. So, Hell or High Water for me, please.
Okay. No, fair enough. Well, I had a shot. It was close, but Hell or High Water will take that one. Moving on down to the Oxbow incident versus the Searchers. All right, so I'll go first. Yeah, I've only seen like the first 20 minutes of the Oxbow incident. I think I started it on Tubi a while back, and I did something else and didn't finish it. Yeah, and I watched The Searchers for the first time about a year ago. Again, I'm not a big John Wayne guy, but I'll at least watch the big ones. Yeah, it's one of the better ones, I will say. I got into the story a little more than some of the other ones, so I'll give it to The Searchers this time. Zach?
I'm going to make this very simple. I haven't heard of the Oxbow incident, but I've definitely heard of the Searchers, so I'm going with the Searchers.
It's a reason.
All right, Soda?
Even if I had have heard of the Oxbow incidents, this would have been the Searchers every day of the week. The Searchers is not one of, if not in consideration for being the greatest Western of all time. It's a really great movie, one of John Wayne's better performances. Natalie Wood has a nice appearance at the end as the girl they're trying to find. A great film. One of John Ford's bests. Maria.
Henry Fonda as a Western guy. I don't like him in that role. Grapes of Wrath, notwithstanding, that wasn't really a cowboy movie. He's not as good as John Wayne in these kind of movies. Oxbow Incident is, I assume it's it could be an important event in history or whatever, but The Searchers is just Searchers. I mean, John Wayne's excellent in that movie. I know he gets a lot of press here on this because he's done a lot of westerns, but he didn't do them because they were they sucked. He did them well, and that's why he's still revered. So I just don't like Henry Fonda in those kind of movies. I'm going to go with The Searchers for sure.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Maria on one thing. I like Henry Fonda in a lot of roles, and one particular Western I love Henry Fonda in, but I like him in other things other than Westerns, mostly except for one. But I think John Wayne is incredible in The Searchers. I think this is one of the best collaborations between John Ford and John Wayne. And I want another one with phenomenal cinematography. But we do, there is a kind of a bad thing that you really get we feel bad about this whitewashing in films, and back in the day there was some whitewashing in films, and
Well,
this
Natalie
white
Wood being an Indian girl is
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
crazy. You give me, Russian immigrant family, but they had
and
probably were Indian girls around that they could have
that's the
picked.
that's the one
Yeah,
thing about The Searchers that you gotta say, oh man,
yeah,
yeah.
I
that's
wish
the
there
way it
wasn't
was.
whitewashing in The Searchers, but it's still a great film, and John Wayne's amazing in it. So I'm just for that reason I'm gonna go, and I love The Searchers. I just feel bad about the whitewashing in The Searchers, but
It's
I'm
hard to
gonna go
get
with
past that sometimes. Yeah.
Searchers.
Oh yeah, I get it. It's just for me. I guess I have a hard time, an easier time than most to be able to separate.
Well, you could
Separate.
say,
Most
they
of the time
didn't
I
know.
do.
Yeah,
Once
Most
you
of the
know
time
better,
I
you
do.
do better. They didn't know better. Maybe I
Sir,
don't know.
I do
Well,
most of the
hey,
time, but it's really obvious in The
Oh,
Searchers.
it's
100% is obvious.
it's not as bad as John Wayne playing Genghis Khan, though. We can
Well,
all,
Yeah,
yeah,
You got to
that's
give
yeah,
it that. That's true. That's
yeah.
true.
yeah. It's not as bad as that.
yeah.
Got the original Magnificent Seven with Yul Brynner against Django Franco Nero. Yeah, ooh, what a match! All
There we
right. All right, and by the way, just fun fact, yeah, if you've seen Django Unchained, the song they play at the original Django, it's from the original movie. They played in the opening credits of that movie.
And didn't he have a
So,
cameo in it as well?
oh, what? Yeah, he had a cameo. Yeah, he's the guy at the bar in
Yeah.
Django Unchained after the first Mandingo fight when he goes, "What's your name?" and Django says, "Django." The D is silent. Franco Nero goes, "Yes, I know." Because he knows, because he's motherfucking Django. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's for that. That is Franco Nero. He's also the Italian Continental guy in John Wick 2, also, because he's
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Italian royalty.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So he pops up and stuff every now and then. Zach, you're up first.
The only thing I've heard about Django is what you've mentioned, Austin. But I
Yeah.
actually own the Magnificent Seven on DVD, and I think I watched it for the first time last year, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to go with the Magnificent Seven.
No, that's cool. It's a tough match here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never seen the original Django. Only became aware of it because of Django Unchained. But it's Magnificent Seven. Again, a great Western. Plus, it's got that iconic theme song. So, Magnificent Seven.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Maria.
I have to echo that. I haven't seen this Django movie. I'm sorry to say, but I have seen Magnificent Seven a number of times, and I think it's good. Eli Wallach is, Eli Wallach. I like him so much. Everything he's in. But I will take a look at this one, this Django one down the road. But I'm going to vote for the original Magnificent Seven.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I actually have seen the original Django, and it's amazing. But I'll be honest with you, it doesn't hold up to the original Magnificent Seven, which we all know is a remake of the Seven Samurai. But
Right.
like the remake that came out in I think 2007, is it, or was it 14? What was it?
It wasn't long ago.
2015.
2015. It's got an amazing cast: Yul Brynner, Charles Bronson, Eli Wallach. Oh God, what's his name?
James Coburn.
James Coburn. I mean, it's got an incredible cast.
Mr. Cool, Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen's in it. I mean, and I do like this version of Django, but talking to people, and I'm not going off of what people say. I have heard people have talked. It's not as good as the Tarantino Django. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. It's not as good as the Tarantino Django, but I am going to go with the Magnificent Seven, the original. But I do like this version of Django, and I love those facts that you threw out there, Austin. Great job with the facts there.
Yeah, no, I'll give you another fact because I'll vote for Django just to be the lone vote because I'm wearing the T-shirt, obviously. So I got him on a damn T-shirt. No, I love Franco Nero. I'll watch anything with him. He's just one of the coolest guys ever. He's just got that Clint Eastwood kind of also vibe to him. He's just super cool everything he does. And yeah, they made this movie Franco Nero, and then there was about 40 knockoff spin-off movies that people just use the name of the character in 40 knockoff movies. If you look it up on Wikipedia, you can look up Django, like the character on Wikipedia, and there's all these movies that Django get a coffin, Django shoot to kill, Django this, Django that, a million of them that were everywhere because they didn't really copyright the name, so everybody just ran off with it and did their own thing. But it's a really should dig into. But I'll give it a 1. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. If you like spaghetti westerns like I do, it's a good one. So check it out.
Yeah, Voice is one of the best.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, so that's the end of the first side. So we're doing good, guys. Let's keep up the pace. I appreciate it. I should say, before we get to the other side, we're going to hear a quick word from our sponsor tonight, Five Goes West.
This holiday season, America's best-loved tale continues.
He's come back to us.
As Steven Spielberg presents An American Tale, Five Goes West, rated G, now playing.
Kids are meeting Fievel face to face because now their movie ticket to Fievel Goes West gets them a coupon good for free admission to Universal Studios Hollywood. They'll see a spectacular new show and explore the magic of Fievel's Playland. So hurry on out, partner.
Those mice are so creepy.
So I owned the first one on VHS as a tape, but my grandma owned the second one, Five Goes West, so I felt like a treat whenever I would get to go watch it. I love those movies.
No, I love Five Goes West as well. It's not in this tournament. I just figured I'd be a way to shout it out and have a little fun on the episode.
It's fun.
Wyatt.
Wyatt Burr, Wiley Burr, and Jimmy Stewart's last film role before he passed away. So, it's not bad. Check it out. All right. So, anyways, jumping over to the other side, we got a John Wayne matchup here once again. We got the Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and El Dorado going up against each other. So, this time it'll be Soda.
So I haven't seen El Dorado, but I know this is one my dad loved. He seemed to love the Dean Martin westerns. But The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is one of my favorite personal all-time westerns. Not just that, but also I think it's a really great film on top of that. So I'm going to give it to The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
All right. Yeah, we're good.
You made the right decision. That's a better movie of the two. James Stewart in westerns seems like almost he shouldn't be there. He does a pretty good job though of being like a shopkeeper or whatever. He was
Restaurateur.
Politician, restaurateur in this one, and you think the whole movie that they might be talking about him, and they're talking about John Wayne. So it's like very, very interesting, the dynamics of the whole situation and how it went down and how it's portrayed. I think it's a great movie. I think it deserves to be voted through. Robert Mitchum just gives me the creeps all the time. I don't know. He looks like somebody who's weird, but that's a really good movie. So I don't feel bad about saying I want that, but for my vote, please.
Yeah. I haven't seen El Dorado in a long time, and I honestly I can't say a whole lot about it. I see the poster's got Robert Mitchum on there, but I'll tell you what, I love The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Like Jimmy Stewart is a lawyer who ends up working in a restaurant, washing dishes, and he ends up getting this whole thing involved. He's trying to stay out of this thing and not be involved with this whole thing that John Wayne's got going on. He inadvertently gets involved in this whole incident that's going on. And it's just such a great movie. I love it. I love it. I actually own the 4K of that as well.
Oh, I've got the Centennial collection of it. I don't have the 4K.
Yeah.
I've got the Blu-ray. I've got the Blu-ray over there. I don't have the 4K,
nice.
but yeah.
Why am I telling you guys about this movie before you already know about it? I just assume nobody knows about him.
Well, it's for Zach. It's for Zach. This is a recommended one.
We're selling them, but we're selling a lot of these movies to Zach to get him to vote for certain things. Yeah.
But also, Jimmy Stewart's so great and as like the average guy in so many other movies. But he's the average guy in a western, which is weird because he hasn't been in. I don't like. He's kind of like Henry Fonda for me. Like I'd rather see him in other.
I'd rather see him in something else. Yeah.
So, but I do go for the man who
He
shot
gets
Liberty
by with
Valance.
him though. I mean, he doesn't do horrible, but I mean, I'm
Yeah,
with you. They got a certain persona that you don't see in that particular, mold right there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm also going to go with the man who shot Liberty Valance. Yeah, El Dorado is one of the other blind spots. I have one of the, like I said, 4 or 5 blind spots I have on here. But yeah, man who shot Liberty Valance is all right. One of the better John Wayne ones I saw fairly recently. I love Lee Marvin. So, like, you pop Lee Marvin into a movie. I'm a big Dirty Dozen fan. So, like, I dig Lee Marvin. He did, like, a Western Twilight Zone episode, too, like, about a gravestone. Like, it's pretty good. I forget what that one's called. It's a good one. But yeah, I'll go with the man who shot Liberty Valance.
Did Cat Blue get picked? I forgot about that one. You said Lee Marvin just now. Oh, that's worth it.
All right, you got 64 spots.
Yeah,
I've only got 64. I gotta be picky. Yeah.
I guess.
Exactly.
Well, my vote when I saw this anyway was going to be the man who shot Liberty Valance, just because I've heard a lot more about it. And I mean, you can't go wrong with James Stewart and John Wayne. So just I'm gonna go with man who shot Liberty Valance.
Yeah, no, totally making a clean sweep. All right, moving on down to 2 Mules for Sister Sarah, which again I threw in there last minute.
Okay, what did you put it against?
Versus Young Guns.
I'm fine with that.
So yeah, there you go. I just threw the first one in there, not the second one, just the first one. Yeah, Maria.
2 Mules for Sister Sarah is my absolute all-time favorite Western movie. Basically, Clint Eastwood is a gunslinger, of course, and Shirley MacLaine is a prostitute who gets herself in some trouble, and to get out of trouble and get a ride somewhere, she pretends that she's done, and that they accosted her because of that, and so forth. So that's nothing that you find that out in the first 5 minutes of the whole thing, but it's just the idea of her trying to. She plays him. She won't do what he says. She's not predictable. He doesn't know anything about it until they finally get to their destination and find out there's a war going on that they need some help with. But it's just amazing. It's funny in spots. It's sad in spots. It's also very it's an interesting Western. They have to get rid of a train, and the way they have to do it is quite it's a fun scene, and I think it's great. But at the end, when when he figures out who she is really, it's a lot of fun, and I think you really enjoy it if you haven't seen it before. I couldn't say enough good about it. I want that to win.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, the whole taking it out, putting it back in. I was like, okay, we have to have 2 Mules for Sister Sarah in here. This is an all-time great Clint Eastwood film, and I hate to say it. I don't know what you guys are going to have. No clue what you guys are going to say, and I just think Young Guns it loses its luster over time as the years have gone by. You watch it, you're like, wow, this is kind of not that good, even though it's got this phenomenal cast and you've got these. I mean, some of the guys that would become some of our great young actors of the late '80s and early '90s, and like Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland and Charlie Sheen and all these guys. It's not a bad movie for the time it came out. It just, as the years have gone by, it seems like it's just not as good as each year goes by. And Two Mules is a classic, one of the Clint Eastwood ones that I absolutely loved growing up as a kid. So I'm going for that one.
Okay. Yeah, no, 2 Mules is the one I forgot about, and only because it's the one Clint Eastwood Western I haven't seen, and I just forgot about it because it's more of a kind of a comedy. So I'll get to it. I haven't seen it. I like Young Guns. It's better than a lot of the other knockoffs they tried to do in the early 2000s. If anybody remembers, like Texas Rangers and American Outlaws and like all those goofy like Young Guns wannabes, with the hot nose cast. Yeah, like they were just not as good. I like Young Guns. It has a charm to it. I dig it. So I'll go with that for now. Zach?
So my decision is going to be that I have wanted to see Young Guns for years now, and I have never gotten around to it. And it's just always been a movie that I've wanted to see. So for me, Young Guns is my choice.
Soda.
So, yeah, I've never seen 2 Mules for Sister Sarah, but it is one that my dad watched a lot when I was growing up, so I am familiar enough with it. But I got to give it to Young Guns just because I thoroughly enjoy that movie. It comes out in that one.
And I think
Wow.
Maria, you got a Bon Jovi song as your title, and I believe there's a Bon Jovi song in Young Guns. That
It's part 2, number 2. It's
part 2. Okay, never mind. My bad.
Blaze of Glory.
That's
Well,
right.
threw it in
Oh,
there,
well.
but it,
Sorry,
I thought
Maria.
it would have had a chance against Young Guns, but there you go. I'm sorry about that.
That's a sad
I'll
thing.
get to it, though.
Once you see that movie, you're going to be saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did that."
Robert Redford with Jeremiah Johnson and another
God.
Eastwood High Plains Drifter that we talked about earlier. So,
Mm.
Dan, you're up first.
Yeah, you guys have heard me wax poetic about Clint Eastwood in this kind of the lonely heart guy kind of goes into town Western type of thing. And one of them is High Plains Drifter, another one where he's amazing and he goes into the town, he helps these people out, this family and stuff. But with this particular matchup, and I don't know what the matchups are going to be. I read this book as a kid, Jeremiah Johnson, when I was a kid, and I was absolutely blown away. And when I found out there was a movie, I was like, oh my God, I got to see this movie. And one of my favorite actors of all time is Robert Redford. He's in my top 5 or 6 actors of all time. And don't get me started with him as a director. But I freaking love Jeremiah Johnson. I think this movie is so good. He kills this one Indian, and he ends up being like a contract. It's like a contract killer. Like he killed somebody he wasn't supposed to kill. Then the Indians put out this contract on him, and he has to keep fighting off all these Indians that are coming to collect that bounty on him. And he gets married. He meets a buddy who gets scalped and stuck in the desert. And it's just such a freaking phenomenon. He marries a squaw. I mean, look, I only know about myself. I can't tell about anybody else. I love Jeremiah Johnson. And I can only go off the matchup. And I love High Plains Drifter, but I just love Jeremiah Johnson that much more, just like a hair skin more. So Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, Jeremiah Johnson's one I saw with my dad a long time ago, but it was a long time ago. I don't remember a lot about it. I need to revisit that one. That's one I need to go back to. But yeah, I've watched High Plains Drifter a lot. I really dig this one as far as like outside of the Dollars trilogy, for Eastwood. This might be my favorite one out of all those. And just a really cool finale where they literally paint the town red to look like hell. It's great. There's sort of an element where he might be like a spirit or a ghost or something. Like it's kind of implied. He might just be like the spirit that comes out of the desert. Like, there's these themes. It's pretty cool, and I dig it. So I'm going to go High Plains Drifter. Zach?
I haven't heard of Jeremiah Johnson, but I have heard a lot of good things about High Plains Drifter. So for me, I'm going to go with High Plains Drifter.
Yeah. Soda.
So High Plains Drifter is actually one of the rare Eastwood westerns that my dad likes, but I got to give it to Jeremiah Johnson because even though I've never seen both movies, it produced a great meme.
Okay.
Say that again. What was that?
It produced a great meme.
A great what?
Meme.
Meme.
Picture.
Yeah, you
Joe,
get like a little short video
Jeremiah
clip.
Johnson meme?
Yeah, it's the one of Robert Redford. Like it zooms in on him, and he's like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's him like looking at I'll see. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Hang on. Let me. I got it here. I'll pull this back up in a second. I got. Here you go. Yeah, the picture of him.
yeah.
That picture. They use it for memes a lot.
Wow. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can see there's some memes kind of in there, but yeah. So. All right.
Good note.
Yeah, Maria.
When I was 17 years old, Jeremiah Johnson came out. I found out about the movie because my boyfriend asked someone else to go to see it with him.
Oh,
I
no.
hate Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, no.
I will never watch that movie.
Oh,
I like to cause the
She's
biggest
giving
scene.
A decades old spite vote. I like it.
No shit. I hated that. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, I was going off. I didn't say the F word then, though, because it wasn't polite. But, yeah, no, I'll never vote for that. I'll never watch it. I love Robert Redford. I hate him for having that movie. There you go.
Wow.
That's not his.
What a backstory, huh? Yeah, he
What
broke
a
up with me
backstory
right
to
then
that
and
one.
there.
Oh, wow.
She turned out to be a nurse. Whatever.
Don't listen to Maria, Zach. Watch it, Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on my list. I'm writing a list of all of them.
All right, we got a heavy hitter entering the tournament. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly against News of the World.
That's no contest, is it?
This one may be academic, but we'll say it anyways. Yeah, I'm up first. Yeah, this one's no contest. News of the World's a decent movie, but god damn it, it's the good, bad, and the ugly. Now, I'll say this. There's a movie in the Dollar Store that I like more personally. We'll get to it.
Which one? Oh, the third one?
The other one, yeah, that we haven't gotten to yet. We'll get to it very soon. But god damn it, yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly is great. Series of just iconic scenes. Maybe the most iconic Western score of all time. Yeah, I mean, just great stuff. We heard the Ecstasy of Gold in the open,
whatever his
montage.
name is.
Yeah, no, it's what do you say about it other than that it's good enough to possibly win this tournament. We'll see. But Zach?
So I actually did see News of the World in theaters, but it was good. I mean, Tom Hanks is my favorite actor of all time, but this was not one of his better performances. And I mean, good, bad, and the ugly, I have heard nothing but amazing things about. So good, bad, and the ugly is my choice.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I actually enjoyed News of the World, but I mean, it's got to be good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, I mean, it's one of the iconic westerns.
Yeah, Maria.
Every time I see it, I get my ears ready because it's gonna be a lot of sudden bursts of sound, and then you can't watch it without that. I mean, if that sound wasn't there, I don't know what that movie would be like, honestly.
And a lot of close-ups on sweaty faces. A lot.
I know they're very, very sweaty. They're very dirty boys. It's a good movie though. It's fantastic. I haven't seen News of the World. Have no plans to, but I will vote for Good, Bad, and the Ugly because it's phenomenal. In the top 10, I would say maybe even top 5.
Yeah, Dan.
I mean, I just think that's. I mean, I don't want to say this, Maria, but I mean, why? I don't want to see this movie and I have no plans to. What's wrong? I mean, it's a movie with Tom Hanks and he's in a western. It's Paul Greengrass. There's a great director.
I love Paul Greengrass, but I don't think I'd love him.
That's an ignorant statement, but I don't mean to.
That sounds kind of controversial. I'm entitled to my opinion.
You're right. You are.
But it's not controversial.
I love the good, the bad. I freaking love this movie. I think it's a phenomenal movie. It's a great movie. The way you phrase that about News of the World is a really
now you're going to make an enemy of me. Let's let it go, okay? Because you don't get to say that I'm ignorant because I like something, okay?
Hey, let's calm down and have a look.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Sheriff what was his name? Buford T.
Buford T.
Justice. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't like the way I phrased it, but that's the way I feel. So.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just was like, okay, that's. I mean, just.
No, I don't like Tom Hanks in those kind of movies. I just don't. I think he's better than things that he does well at. And that's not one of them.
The bad and the ugly. I'm going to vote for the good, bad, and the ugly, but I'm just telling you guys. The News of the World is a really good movie. It's Paul Greengrass. It's Tom Hanks in the lone wolf and cub role, which we've seen so much lately. Obviously, in The Mandalorian and The Last of Us and The Creator, which came out today. We have so many movies that took that lone wolf and cub, that whole trope, and that was another one. News of the World was another one, but The Good, the Bad, one of the all-time greats, and I love it. So that's my vote.
Yeah. So, all right, clean sweep for the good, bad, and the ugly. All right, scooting on down to Keoma with Franco Nero and Maverick with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster. So, Zach, go first.
I have never heard of Keoma, and I think I've barely heard of Maverick. I'm just going based off what I see. And Keoma, to me, draws me in a little bit more, so I'm going to go with Keoma.
Yeah. Soda.
So again, never heard of Keoma, But Maverick, it's a movie I enjoy watching every, I don't know, 5-6 years or whatever. It's based on a TV show with James Garner, who makes an appearance in this as Mel Gibson's character's dad. And also there's a fun cameo with Danny Glover, where him and Mel Gibson look at each other, and you just kind of hear the Lethal Weapon theme song, and you're like, nah.
That's funny.
Well,
Well, I've seen Maverick. I liked it. It's comical enough. I mean, I don't. It's not something I would rewatch a lot. You know, I mean, I've seen it like once, maybe in 10 years. You know, this other one I haven't seen, but I'm like Zach. I'm intrigued by the poster here. Is drawing me into something. I'm not sure what's happened to this guy and what's going to happen in the future. So I think, even though I've seen Maverick and I did like it a lot, I think I'm going to vote for the Kilma because I think it looks like something I might be, willing to give it a shot.
yeah. Dan?
Yeah, despite the cancellation of Mel Gibson, he did come back, and I think he was in his that sweet spot in his career when he was making Maverick, and it's like you said, Jodie Foster. It's directed by Ron Howard. It's a fun Western. It's actually one of the better comedic Westerns, and it's got a lot of poker games and stuff like that in there. These guys are kind of like shysters a little bit, some of that stuff, cards hidden under the sleeves and kind of stuff like that. And like you said, it is based on a TV show, and they did a remake of a TV show, and it was actually one of the better remakes of a TV show or reboots of a TV show as a movie. There's been a lot of them since then. So I'm going to go with Maverick here.
It was actually Richard Donner that directed this, which is why the cameo happened.
That's it, Richard Donner. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was. Oh, I know why. There was another movie with Ron Howard and Mel Gibson right around the same time. That's why I got that confused.
The Man Without a Face?
No.
That was a dumb movie. I mean, it was fine.
Ransom, right? Ransom.
Give me back my son.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I threw Keoma in here because, again, I wanted to advocate for another Franco Nero that I think is really good. It's another kind of one guy against, the world sort of a thing, but this time it's a one guy against his racist brothers, and he's kind of an inbred dude. Keoma's it's Franco Nero with a badass beard and long hair. It's great. It's directed by Enzo Castellari, who actually directed the original Inglourious Bastards, if you don't know about that movie from 1978. With Fred the Hammer Williamson. There's an OG Inglourious Bastards. That's a pretty fun little movie. And he also directed The Last Shark, which is one of the many Jaws knockoffs. Think of a spaghetti western version of Jaws, and he directed that movie. So, he's a fun little director, and I like him. So I'll go with Keoma. And surprisingly, despite me being the only person who's seen it, Keoma wins. Cool. All right, so there we go. I got to turn off my notifications here. I got people in my ear. Anyways, all right. So, we got for a few dollars more. Finish off the trilogy against Dances with Wolves.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Soda's up first.
Shit. Surprisingly, I actually haven't seen Dances with Wolves.
Wow.
So I'm gonna give it to a few dollars more because that's actually one I'm familiar with from kind of seeing my dad watch it growing up and what have you. So I'm gonna give it to that one.
Yeah, Maria.
Well, I watched Dances with Wolves not long ago. It was on for some reason, and I can't remember why. But I just seen Kevin Costner on a talk show, and he was talking about it, and he got a little arrogant. But what I didn't realize when I first saw Dances with Wolves, it is kind of one of those white privilege take over the native population when there's probably thousands of actors that could have done some of those roles, but whatever. There are Native Americans in there, but it's just the idea that it's not as good as it could have been. And it's kind of silly plot. White savior, basically, of the tribe and how they get food in the future and all that crap. I don't know. But, I just love the spaghetti stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's gritty and all that, I'm going to go with the few dollars more because I don't want to give Kevin Costner a vote for positive because he's kind of a jerk.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know already where Austin's going with this one. He said this is his favorite of the Dollars trilogy, and I love it as well. But I'm actually going to go with Dances with Wolves here because I think this is a great film. Yes, it's white savior film, and it's not a white man taking over a role for a Native American. It's written as a white man who's in the Civil War, who gets stationed in this place, who becomes friends with the Native Americans and becomes friends with Graham Greene's character, and they develop a connection to each other and whatnot. And I just think it's a great movie. Yeah. Oh, everybody's like, oh, Dances with Wolves won the Oscar, and then Kevin Costner should have been Goodfellas or whatever. I think it's Goodfellas. It should have been that year. Martin Scorsese, my favorite director, my favorite actor, Robert De Niro. But it doesn't mean this movie isn't a great movie and Kevin Costner isn't great. And he was really in his sweet spot in his career at this point. I mean, he was just making hit after hit after hit at this point in his career. So I'm going with Dances with Wolves. I'm probably going to be the lone wolf here. No pun intended. Woo!
So, Dan, for a few dollars more, is not only my favorite of the Dollars trilogy, it's my favorite Western, period.
That's fine. I knew you were going to put that.
I love this movie so much. I think it's better than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think it has better pacing. I think it has a better story. I think it's more entertaining overall. It's a tighter film. It's not as long. I think it just works. It clicks. Love the story between Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef teaming up. The two bounty hunters against Indio, who's a great villain. This movie kicks ass. I've seen it like 30 times. I love this movie so much. I watched it as recently as 6 days ago. We broke in my new home theater couch and my backlights and put on this movie with my parents, and we loved it. Had a good time. So I will vote for this movie all day, every day against any other Western on this bracket. I don't know how far it'll make it, but I'm rooting for it. So we'll see. Zach?
So, Dan, you'll know my answer by this one thing. You are not dancing alone. My vote is Dances with Wolves.
All right. Well, it's close. My movie just squeaked through, but it made it through 3-2. So, all right. Hangs on for a minute. Winchester 73 with Jimmy Stewart against Blazing Saddles. Full on comedic Western here. Maria?
I love Blazing Saddles. That was the first movie that my husband and I saw together when we were dating. That was a risky move on his part, because even before the being the wordage and everything, I know the point of it now. Mel Brooks is trying to point out racial inequality and so forth, but I mean it's people watch it today. They're very upset kind of about watching it. I still think it's funny.
There's a farting scene around a campfire. Like, how could you?
That is hysterical. Yeah, some of the stuff is just nuts. I mean, just the whole bit about. We got to go back and get a shitload of dimes to get through this, to the toll gate in the middle of the field. And Winchester's good, but I mean, I think we need a comedy in here. I'm going to vote for Blazing Saddles. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I thought I had.
I just want to say, Blazing Saddles has the funniest. I know they're not always funny, but the funniest rape joke of all time.
I like that too. He says, "That's crazy." Well, you said rape twice. I like rape.
He goes, what's your qualifications? Rape, arson, murder, and rape. You said rape already. I like rape. It's a funny joke. It's a funny joke.
It's very funny in the story. It's very funny.
In the context of the movie, it's very, very funny.
Headley Lamar.
Yeah. Anyways, Dan?
All right, so now I'm going to break up this love fest over here with you two having a great old time, reminiscing about your love for this movie. I actually love the movie as well, Blazing Saddles. Winchester 73, like I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy Stewart in Westerns, but another one that's really good is Winchester's. I thought I had the Criterion, but I guess, or I look back there, I can't find the Criterion, but I know I think it's on Criterion Collection. I got to get that if I haven't already. But no, I love Blazing Saddles. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mel Brooks, and I think he was really hitting home run after home run in the 70s, especially. I think, quote me if I'm wrong, fine, Austin, but is it Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles came out in 75, both at the same year?
No, Blazing Saddles 74, then Young Frankenstein 75, but I mean, a year apart from each other. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, well, that's because Gene Wilder came to Mel Brooks on the set of Blazing Saddles with basically the script for Young Frankenstein. already.
Yeah, he already had.
Well,
made
and
it.
also Gene Wilder was a last-minute replacement on Blazing Saddles. Both the leads were last-minute replacements because Gene Wilder was a last-minute replacement.
Supposed to be Richard Pryor.
And then Richard Pryor dropped out, and they got Cleavon Little. Yeah, so
Well, he didn't drop out. They made him drop out. They didn't want him. The
luckily,
studio didn't want him.
Richard Pryor's jokes are still in there because he wrote a lot of Mongo's.
Yeah, he wrote he wrote a lot, but he didn't get to play the character.
Yeah, so
That's the studio.
I mean, what a freaking! I mean, I think Murder on the Orient Express should not have been in the Best Picture 5 that year. It should have been Blazing Saddles, if you ask me. But I think it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and I hate to say it for Winchester 73, but I got to go with Blazing Saddles here.
yeah, no. When I alluded to another movie in here, no, this is not only my favorite Western. It's my favorite comedy. Period. This is my number one. I love Blazing
Oh, is it?
Saddles.
Oh, that's good. That's funny.
I love Blazing Saddles. My dad introduced me to this one again a long time ago. We bond over this movie. We watch it all the time. He saw it in college. He loved it. He showed it to me, and I fell in love with this movie. I quote it all the time. It's great. And Marie, when I was looking for we were looking for a panel, I just for this thing, I just looked around and I just.
Hey, where are the white women at?
That is so funny. That's hysterical. And he goes, what does he say?
2 hours.
He says, these are the guys, these are the common thread of the West, morons. It's like, I'm like, yeah. Such a good movie. Yeah, very funny.
Oh man,
Where are the white women at?
On that joke for 2 hours, Austin. That is hilarious.
I said on it. I had to.
Yeah, that's good. You were good. I had no idea you were going to bring that out.
I had that clip ready to go before the show started.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That is a fucking classic right there.
Yeah, right. Zach?
So, I have seen Blazing Saddles. It's probably been like a decade since I've seen it, though. And I've never seen Winchester 73. I do like Blazing Saddles. It's not my favorite Mel Brooks movie.
What's your favorite Mel Brooks? What is your favorite?
Robin Hood Men in Tights is my favorite.
Yeah,
That's very funny, too. Mine's Young Frankenstein. That's my favorite.
And so I'm going to go with Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
So in order for me for Mel Brooks, it is Robin Hood Men in Tights, Blazing Saddles, and Young Frankenstein. Blazing Saddles is a hilarious movie. It is easily quotable, as you can all see. My favorite joke is actually one that didn't make it into the film. It is when Lily Von Shtupp is seducing the sheriff, and the lights go out. Well, in the movie, it cuts out, but there was originally a joke where they're making noises, and she goes, "Oh, it's true. It's true.
It's still in there."
They say, "I hate to tell you, but you're sucking on my elbow."
He says that's the joke that got together.
Yeah.
She says, it's true. My Schnitzengruben.
No,
she says, I need a rest.
It's a phenomenal comedy. They did a lot of stuff that you do kind of feel bad laughing at, but like another good joke.
Weird.
Do you realize that you just heard a nyeh?
Yeah.
There's just so much.
It's a phenomenal film, and love it.
It's funny when he's walking away with the mayor or the governor, and he goes, and you're wait, I gotta go back and get the other guy.
Excuse me 1 second.
So funny.
Got the
God.
Dead. Quick and the Dead versus Once Upon a Time in the West. All right, a little matchup here, Dan.
Yeah, when I said that Henry Fonda isn't like him in the normal everyday kind of every guy roles, except for one Western.
That's it, yeah.
This is the one Western that I freaking love, Henry Fonda, and he plays the villain. He's
ruthless.
He's the freaking nasty character. Charles Bronson once again is in here. I mean, it's got a freaking amazing cast. This is a Sergio Leone movie that's not a part of the Dollars trilogy, but equally
looks and feels the same, though. It should be, I think, kind of.
Is freaking amazing. These people get killed at the beginning of the movie. You're like, what the heck?
Absolutely no remorse on him. He just does it.
And you say, okay, we know who the villain is. We know who the villain is. And oh my God. I mean, another one with phenomenal cinematography. Gorgeous looking film. And I think we're getting the 4K this year. or early next year, Austin. So keep.
I know. Because I have the double DVD set, and I'm waiting for the 4K to come out so I can upgrade. I'm waiting for that one. I don't want to buy the Blu-ray when I know the 4K is coming.
We're getting that and Tombstone early next year, I think.
Tombstone's going on 4K? Freaking
hell yeah.
Yeah, so
because I have Tombstone on DVD also. I need to upgrade that shit too.
Hopefully with bonus features.
Look, I love the Quick. I mean, Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, it's got a phenomenal cast, but it's just when it compared to Once Upon a Time in the West, there is no comparison. I gotta go every day, all day, every week, twice on Sunday for Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah, no, I saw Quick and the Dead. Yeah, again, that's the one I came to about 2 years ago. And yeah, it's fun. It's Sam Raimi. People forget that. It's great. Another great cast. I mean, everybody in the movie is somebody when you watch it. I mean, for God's sake, speaking of, this new Saw movie, Tobin Bell's in a scene in this goddamn movie. You know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of character actors popping up left and right. But yeah, I love Sergio Leone. I love that Dallas trilogy. And yeah, this movie fits right in with it. It just doesn't have Clint Eastwood in it, but it's fine because it has its own great cast and its own great score and its own great cinematography. And yeah, it's kind of, you could argue it might be his masterpiece. I don't know, because it was kind of all building to this, but you can make the argument. Yeah, I'll vote for it for sure. Yeah, I'll take it. Zach?
So I haven't seen either of these, but they're both on my
don't say,
but they are both on my short watch list to see.
I see.
And I might be in the minority, but I have The Quick and the Dead a little bit above Once Upon a Time in the West to see. So I'm going to go with The Quick and the Dead, but it's a very close matchup.
Oh, and I want to say the score from Ennio Morricone. Oh, God, amazing. Amazing score. Okay, go ahead.
So I haven't seen these either, but I do have memories of my grandparents watching Quick and the Dead when I was a kid. But I'm going to give this to Once Upon a Time in the West just because of its reputation, and it is 2 on my list.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in the West, Henry Fonda is frightening. I mean, he really's living that part. I mean, I don't like him in those usually, but that one I give him. I'm the same as Dan. I give him credit for that one because he does a phenomenal job of being an asshole. I mean, I'm just really scary. Still, I watched it just the other day. I'm thinking, God, how did he sell that so well? I mean, he's just like, so what? They're dead. Jesus Christ, guy. So anyway, yeah, I haven't seen the other one honestly because I just haven't never had the time, thought about it or anything. But I do know that one pretty well. So Once Upon a Time in the West gets my vote.
Yeah, totally. Quick and the Dead is worth your time, though. Say it's really, really good.
Well, I will. I just one of those blind spots. I didn't know. I didn't think about it so much.
Yeah, it's Leo pre-Titanic.
Yeah, Leo, Gene Hackman. Yeah,
I got my Leo before. Yeah, Titanic. He was great.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, is it Sharon Stone?
Is it
that the Sharon Stone one?
Oh, yeah.
Lance Henriksen's in that movie. Yeah, everybody's in that movie.
I've seen that. If Sharon Stone's in it. Yeah, and Russell. Yeah.
Got Macabre and Mrs. Miller against Hang 'em High.
McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
Okay, excuse me.
It's a comedy.
Well, this is one of my blind spots, but I have it on my. I have it sitting on my Vudu. I bought a '70s 6-pack of movies, and I haven't watched it yet. So, no, it's my first thing. Yeah, like I haven't watched it yet. I've got it on a Vudu thing. I will get to it because I'm on a '70s kick right now, so I'm trying to watch a lot of these '70s movies. But yeah, I like Hang 'em High a lot. Again, it's non-Eastwood dollars, but it's a unique, cool story of revenge, and he has a badass neck scar on his thing the whole movie. So. Yeah, I'll go with Hang 'em High. Zach?
Okay, so I'm only basing this off of which one I've heard about, and that is McCabe and Mrs. Miller. I actually haven't heard of Hang 'em High, but I've heard about the other one, so I'm going with that one.
Yeah, so
I'm going to give it with Hang 'em High because I have seen it, and it is one of the rare Clint Eastwood westerns of my dad's. Like, I think those were the only 2. So yeah, I'm gonna get to Hang 'em High.
Yeah, all right.
McCabe and Mrs. Miller is. I wouldn't call it comedy exactly, but it's lighthearted. And he was just in Heaven Can Wait with her as well. So I wonder if that was a period of time when they were having an affair or something. Because I mean, how do they get to be on so many movies together and they're not really together? Whatever.
Probably. It was.
But yeah, probably. Yeah. Clint Eastwood though. Hang 'em High. I like it a lot, so I'm going with Clint on this one.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Warren Beatty, and I like it's him and Jane Fonda. Is that what we're looking at here?
Oh no, it's
Julie Christie.
Julie Christie.
Really Christie, yeah. I mean, and I like I said, I got the Criterion over here, and I like it. I don't like it as much as Hang 'Em High, and this is one of those Clint Eastwood westerns that you say this is right in that vein of all these ones that you're like, God, he was just on fire with these westerns, and he was doing like Dirty Harry in between all these and some of these.
Dirty Harry is wonderful.
He kept on the quality of these westerns in between doing all these others. Play Misty for Me was in the.
Play Misty for Me is another favorite. Yeah.
But he kept on going back to these, and Hang 'Em High is just another one that's just like, this is fantastic, and like it's like this yin and yang, him and John Wayne, and who could outdo the other one, And
I just remember to have all of them, all the westerns we've talked about of his on here.
Yeah, totally. All right, so Hang 'Em High. We'll move on to this round, and we're going down to My Darling Clementine, Henry Fonda. It's The Hateful Eight, Tarantino. Zach's up first this time.
This is going to be a very simple one. I think I've heard of My Darling Clementine, but I have seen The Hateful Eight again, and I think it's a intense movie, but it draws you in, and it's another Kurt Russell appearance. So for me, The Hateful Eight.
While I have heard of My Darling Clementine, Hateful Eight, because I've seen it, and it's a good Tarantino film.
Maria?
Glorious Bastard's my favorite Tarantino. This is right up there, fighting with it to take my number one spot. I love this movie. I thought it was the score is unbelievable. Even the cinematography is unbelievable. I think the opening of that thing is
the one that
insane.
finally
It's
got
beautiful.
Morricone his Oscar, by the way.
His Oscar, yeah. I'm telling you what, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda's miscast in My Darling Clementine. I don't care about that. I've seen it. It's okay. It's not the greatest Western ever made. But yeah, I think this one might be for Tarantino, so I'm going to vote for that. Yeah. I've had something else to say and I forgot it, so never mind.
Yeah, I will say that Henry Fonda isn't miscast in My Darling Clementine, but it is Wyatt Earp. He's playing Wyatt Earp, and this is the story of Wyatt Earp before Tombstone and before Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner, and before all these Wyatt Earps we got later on. This is the first one of the first, if not the first, Wyatt Earp, and I actually thought it was a good movie, but I am not a fan of The Hateful Eight. Hot take. I am not a fan of The Hateful Eight. I absolutely do not like. I think that's one of the worst of the Tarantino's filmography. I just don't like what's the style that he used. What was it called? It's what is
super widescreen or whatever.
Oh, this the close-ups where you're seeing every pore on people's faces and stuff.
I like those.
Every like hair on their beard and everything. All that. What's that? 70s? Was it 70?
Photoreal? I don't know.
Something he did. 48 frames per second or 70. Something he did.
They'd have special projectors or something. Yeah, only so many places could play it. Yeah.
The only Tarantino would do.
I didn't need all that crap, and there are all those people stuck in a house. Who's the murderer? What was it? Clue or something? That's what he was doing. He was doing Clue.
He's so dismissive of that movie.
House, and then it's connected to Django in some way. It is, and it's connected. So they're connected in a similar universe. I think. I don't know. I'm not going to say nothing. I just am not a biggest fan of The Hateful Eight, and so for that reason, I know it's a hot take. I'm going to go with My Darling Clementine.
Dan, for your disrespect,
you're fired.
How dare you speak ill of The Hateful Eight?
All right, can I say something real quick? Can I say something?
Yeah.
If I didn't have My Darling Clementine on the list, would it even be in the 64? To be honest with
No.
you, Austin, I'm the one who made up the list, basically. All right, so
No.
there's a reason why it's on the list. Why do you think it's on the list? Because I actually like the movie.
It's on the
But
list.
you
to
liked
lose
it.
to-
Doesn't mean
it's
it's
on the list to
group thing.
lose to the best Quentin Tarantino movie, The Hateful Eight, which is my
No,
favorite
it's not
Quentin
the best.
Tarantino
It's not the
movie.
best. It
No,
really
it's
is
the
not.
fucking
There's
best. It's
Pulp
I
Fiction,
think it's the best
Kill
written.
Bill 1 and 2.
Got the most amazing characters in this movie. I love just being with these characters. I have shit you not, Dan. I've watched this movie over 50 times since it came out. Fucking love this movie.
Good for you.
Fucking love this movie. I think it's a masterpiece. It's fucking great. And yeah, I love everything about it. So it is what it is. But yeah, it'll hang on for now. But I'm sure Dan's not going to vote for it anytime soon. So there you go. I got Giant. Speaking of what we talked about earlier, against there's the True Grit remake right there. So Soda.
As much as I love True Grit remake, I'm going to go with Giant. It is it's in my top 100. Actually, my top 64 because we did that episode. It's my favorite of the James Dean trilogy. This is a Hollywood epic that spans generations, starring the biggest stars of their time. Rock Hudson, Elizabeth Taylor,
yeah.
James Dean. You had oh God, what's his face? Koopa from the Mario '94 movie. Dennis Hopper was in it. You had Sal Mineo had a cameo in it. Yeah, it is a really good movie. I wish more people would see it. So I'm going to give it to Giant.
Yeah, Maria.
I agree with him. I'm not going to admit any credence to that True Grit wannabe, but the Giant movie is a Giant movie. It's long, but it's good. And Elizabeth Taylor, and it's just I admire her so much for all that she was not the greatest person in the world, maybe, but she certainly could put in a performance. So I think she's great. James Dean's really good too. I mean, unfortunate for him, all these people that got lost in the shuffle here of life, but it's a good movie, so I'm going to vote for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any issues. I don't have any issues with the True Grit remake. Like we said earlier, Austin, you kind of reiterated where when you get the rare Western remake, it has been pretty damn decent. And True Grit is actually a freaking great movie. Matt Damon, you got introduced to Haley Steinfeld, which has become a nice young actress. We've seen in a bunch of things since then. And I actually think Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn is fantastic. I think he does
a
great job playing that.
He's perfect for that. It's perfect Jeff Bridges. Great.
Perfect Jeff Bridges. It's not perfect True Grit character.
Same thing as Rooster Cogburn. He's great. He's perfect.
But that being said, I mean, just you can only go off the matchup, and I'm going to go with Giant because I think James Dean needs to be represented, and I think this is a great movie. He had 3 movies in his career, and this is one of them. And you just see that Rebel Without a Cause, Giant, and the East of Eden, I believe, were the 3. And he's like, you just feel so bad that this guy lost his life so young, and what could have come after that. And so I want to see James Dean represented. So I'm going to go with Giant.
Yeah, Giant's one of the 5 or 6 blind spots, unfortunately. I have it sitting on my Vudu. Also, I have the James Dean trilogy I bought when I was on sale. I've seen Rebel Without a Cause. I haven't seen the other 2. I need to get to them. So had I had a less busy week at work, I would have worked in Giant. But that would have been the one I watched for this. Like I really wanted to, because I need to get to it. But my mom and I love True Grit. I saw it in the theaters with my mom, and we were watching all the Best Picture nominees that year together, and we both love True Grit, the remake, and so it's a movie me and my mom bonded over. So,
then it's a perfect one for you. That's good.
There you go. Yeah. So we like it. But Zach?
So I have heard of Giant, and I actually did see True Grit. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I saw it a little while after. And I actually really liked it. I thought all the performances were really good, especially Haley Steinfeld and Jeff Bridges. And so for me, because I have seen it, I'm going to go with True Grit.
All right, that's a close one, but Giant will actually get the rub on this one.
That was one I was actually wondering if it would have get past the first round.
Yeah, well, there it sure did. So got the assassination of Jesse James by the Cowboy Robert Ford. That's a mouthful. And the 310 to Yuma, speaking of more remakes there. So this could be a tough one. Maria.
Seen them both. Liked them both. Really like 310 to Yuma. I mean, I like the original as well. I think it's grittier. I like it better. I'm going to go with 310 to Yuma.
Okay. Yeah, Dan.
Wow, for me, this is probably the hardest first round matchup of all the first round matchup. I think there's been a pretty easy pick for me, pretty much on every one of them up until now. I just
Hi, buddy.
freaking love the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. I mean, Brad Pitt, Casey Affleck, cinematography by Roger Deakins is incredible. Oh my God, this movie is one of the most gorgeous movies, and it's like got this moody, cloudy, like kind of cinematography, which he doesn't do a lot of, but it really worked for this movie. It kind of played into the whole, what was going to happen, you just didn't know when it was going to happen. But 310 to Yuma, what's like we said before, is got that remake of a classic Western and actually is better than the original. Russell Crowe is incredible. Christian Bale is incredible. Ben Foster should have been nominated. If he didn't get nominated for an Oscar for this, he's so nasty as Russell Crowe's assistant. You got young, what's his face in there? I forget his name, young actor who's been coming into his own as the years have gone by. Percy Jackson. I'm just saying Percy Jackson because he played Percy Jackson, but
Logan Lerman.
Logan Lerman, he's amazing in it. Oh my God. I think 310 is going to win this. So just for that, I'm going to go with the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Yeah, I just watched Assassination of Jesse James probably 5 or 6 months ago for the first time. Good performances, good cinematography. That movie is brutally slow, and it took me two days to get through because it was just so brutally slow. It's good overall. It's not one I'm going to go back to, but man, 310 to Yuma, man, I've got it on 4K. Love this movie. Love the psychological battle between Bale and Crowe in this movie, it's explosive, and I dig it. And yeah, one of those again. We did a good remakes, bad remakes week on Tournament Fights, Dan, where we had one tournament of bad remakes, one tournament of good remakes, and damn right we threw 310 to Yuma and these other Western remakes on this list into that good remake tournament because they're all worthy. So yeah, I'll go 310 to Yuma. Zach.
So I've heard of both of them. I haven't seen either.
Sorry. My dog.
So I'm gonna vote 310 to Yuma for two reasons. One, it's higher on my list to see, but also just for fun. The Assassination of Jesse James is too long of a title. It just shorten it up, and then.
That's a good reason than any.
So I'm going for 310 to Yuma. So
way to go, Zach. Way to go, Zach.
Yeah, so
that's funny.
So I haven't seen either of these, but I did add them to the list I've been making throughout this for ones I watched.
Go this way.
So I'm going to give it to 310 to Yuma for this reason.
Go this way.
It is the name of the Guns finisher in AEW. So I'm going to give it to that movie for that reason.
Yeah, totally. All right. 310 to Yuma will take this one. And we'll go on to Django Unchained and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, that's not fair at all.
That's a hard match. Sure is. We are to Dan first this time.
Yeah, look, I think Jonah Hill is pretty freaking funny. What's his face from Justified is really funny in it. Walton Goggins is great in it. I love Christoph Waltz in this and in Inglourious Bastards, but I freaking love Butch Cassidy and the Sundance. I mean, the collaboration between Paul Newman and Robert Redford here is incredible. I just think this is a great film. Not only Western, but great film. So, I'm going with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, I need to revisit Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Ever since I've kind of gotten really into Paul Newman. Kool Aid and Luke's my favorite Paul Newman movie overall, but yeah, this is a good one too. But man, Django Unchained, like until Hateful Eight came out, was my favorite Tarantino movie, so it's still like number 2. And God, this is another one I've watched like 40, 50 times. Love it. Just everything about it just clicks for me. So I'll give it to Django. Zach.
So I've actually seen both of these movies.
Yay!
Party time! Quick,
and
everybody take a drink.
And I actually like both of them. I'm gonna go with Django Unchained because I think it, in my opinion, I think there are a little bit better performances in that one. I mean, and Leo is a great villain in here. And you know the thing about his hand, right, in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He broke a glass. Yeah.
Bravo.
What a trooper.
Yep.
That
But
$5 million probably had something to do with that part.
but again, like I said, tough matchup. But I'm gonna go slightly to Django Unchained.
Yeah.
So this is a difficult one, because Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is considered one of the great films. It's iconic for a reason, but I'm going to give it to Django Unchained because that movie stays with you. At least it did with me. In particular, this scene where they come across the two guys hanging from the tree and the dogs are going after them. It's a well done film. But like I said, it really stayed with me. So I'm going to go with Django Unchained for this one.
All right. And Leah.
Well, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was one. I was in high school, and I think I saw that. It was so funny and so honest and brutal about how when you rob things don't go as what maybe like you planned. When you make these plans, and we all know that Butch was the planner and Sundance was the enforcer. But I liked Django Unchained a lot, but I have to go with the OG because that movie shaped a bunch of people about what they thought about westerns, how they were developed into what they are today, and how they filmed it with humor, but also pathos and drama and blowing up the trains. Didn't always work out, and the poor guy in there was gonna save that money for the guy that owned it and all that. It was really, really a good movie. I'm gonna vote for Butch Cassidy.
Okay. No, it's a pretty split vote as I expected, but Django's going to pull this one out.
Yeah.
We'll go down to Silverado and Open Range. Me first. So, Silverado's one I came to, again, when I started getting on my Western kick. That's a really fun, underrated, we didn't get a lot of Westerns in the 80s. And this is one of the better ones, it's a really good one. Love Brian Dennehy in this movie; he's great. But yeah, rewatch Open Range for a battleground match recently, actually, and this movie's awesome. And it's great slow build, but good character study, and the violence in that final 15 minutes is pretty damn brutal as well. So it's gonna be a close one. I'll give it to Open Range just slightly, but I wouldn't mind if either one goes on. And I'll be back in 60 seconds, but I can hear you guys, so keep going.
Gone in 60 seconds. That's good.
So for me, I haven't heard of Silverado, and the only reason I had ever heard of Open Range is because of that match that Austin was in. So just for that, I'm going with Open Range.
And I'm gonna go with Silverado because I haven't seen Open Range, but Silverado, like Austin said, it's a really underrated Western. Plus it's got Kevin Kline in it, who I love, and plus it's directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who, as we all know, wrote what is considered the greatest Star Wars film of all time, Empire Strikes Back, and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, for me, I don't know much about Open Range. Silverado was
Kevin
Kline.
Costner, who you trash talked earlier.
I did. I trash talked him earlier because he deserved it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to vote for him. That's what I was going to say. Silverado, though, Kevin Kline, you're right. He's adorable. I love him. I'll vote for Silverado.
I put the better Kevin Kline Western. I did not include Wild Wild West.
Thank you,
man,
Jesus.
see, that would have won it all. You know that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll tell you, I am a big fan of Kevin Costner. If you haven't already figured that out, I think people just don't give him a lot of credit of being a great actor. And I know he's got this whole thing going on with Yellowstone where he kind of quit the show or whatever. But well, I mean, you don't expect a streaming show to go 7 seasons. You think maybe 2 or 3, and then you're done. You know, he was like, "Why am I still doing this?" So he wanted to do something else. But I actually like him and Robert Duvall in this, and I think they're really good together in this. And I'm going to go with Open Range.
Okay. Yeah, Open Range will take this one. But I do recommend Silverado. If anybody out there has not seen it, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. So we got The Homesman with Tommy Lee Jones. And this is one I threw in there. Lee Van Cleef led Spaghetti Westerns. He didn't get just to lead a lot of them, but it's Death Rides a Horse with him and John Philip Law.
Death Rides a Horse.
Death Rides a Horse. Yeah, no, I love a lot of titles of these movies. They're a lot of fun. Death Rides a Horse is great. So, Zach, you're first.
Okay, so I have seen one of these movies, and so I'm going to vote for that one, and that is The Homesman. That is the one I've seen of these two.
Okay. Yeah, Soda.
I haven't seen either of these, but I'm going to give it to the one I've at least heard of. Death Rides a Horse. I've actually heard of that one.
Oh, Kino, baby. Got a little Kino Lorber putting out the spaghetti western
nice.
as well.
So I'm going to give it to that one.
All right. Sir, Maria?
I don't know either one of them particularly, but Lee Van Cleef, I think he deserves to ride a horse, so he's probably death. But I want to vote for that one. I like it. I like the vibe.
He died in '89, and one of his final roles was actually not one of his final roles, but big mainstream movies was actually Escape from New York. If anybody remembers, he's in that
really?
one. Yeah, they kind of Snake Plissken's handler at the beginning of that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice him in there.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You're right about that, Austin. I'll be honest. This is a blind spot for me. Death Rides a Horse, and I actually like The Homesman with Hilary Swank and Tommy Lee Jones in it, and it's just kind of one of these modern westerns that it came and went, and a lot of people didn't really know a whole lot about it, but it's actually pretty good. I mean, Hilary Swank is a 2-time Oscar winner. Tommy Jones is an Oscar winner. So them two together are going to be pretty good. She's like a feisty woman that he has to help or something like that. She ends up getting her family killed or something, and he ends up helping her. Don't quote me. I forget. I saw the movie and I remember seeing it. I just don't remember all the details. But yeah, I think I'm going with The Homesman.
Yeah. And Homesman's again one of the other couple of blind spots I have on here. I missed that one in theaters, but I'll get to it eventually. Probably when we do our we're gonna eventually do a battle of the grumpy old men, probably with Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford. So since they have a crossover,
There you go.
But yeah,
curmudgeon.
I'll get to it for that. But yeah, I wanted to advocate for Death Rides a Horse. Again, if you dig Lee Van Cleef, some of these spaghetti things, again, it's a really fun one. It's a quick watch. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's a good one. So I was gonna give it to that. But yeah, it's actually gonna win this one. I don't expect to make it very far, out of this round. We'll see.
Maybe it will.
Got the Outlaw Josie Wales polishing off Eastwood here, and The Proposition, the Australian Western. So we'll go to Soda first.
I'm gonna go the Outlaw Jonesy Wales because one, I've seen it, and two, it's actually a really great poster. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good there.
Yeah, and I've actually never heard of The Proposition.
Proposition is good. Yeah, it's a very, very gritty dark western from Australia, but it's got a good cast. Yeah, Guy Pearce, Ray Winstone, Danny Houston, John Hurt. Hell of a cast, actually. Hell of a cast. Yeah. Maria.
I know the Outlaw Josie Wales because it's on every Sunday. It seemed like when I was coming up, and my kids were coming up. I don't know The Proposition at all, but I'm going to vote for Josie Wales because I've seen it a lot. I like it a lot. So.
Yeah. No, Dan.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, guys. I've been championing Clint Eastwood and this whole trilogy of lone gunman type characters that he's played in the late 70s and early 80s. for 2 hours now, and Outlaw Josie Wales is another one on that list where it's like he plays that same type of character, and I love them all. But because I think it's going to win this one, I'm just going to show some love for the proposition. I think it's an incredible Western that just not enough people have seen. Like Austin says, a phenomenal cast. Guy Pearce is fantastic in it. And I just want to champion something that, a lot of people haven't seen, and tell people this is a movie you should see. And that's why it's on the list. Because I don't think Austin would have put it on the list if I didn't put it on the list that I sent him. But he probably looked up, oh, okay. And he put it on the list for a reason. And that's why I put it on the list, because it is a great film. So I'm going to go against my own, what I've been doing all along. And I'm going to go for the proposition, but because I think Outlaw Josie Wales is going to win. So I guess over Austin's reaching for something. So
I was just gonna say I've been a fan of the proposition ever since I picked it up on Blu-ray about 8 years ago. And I think I just picked this up, just because I thought it looked cool, and this is actually the inspiration for the original for some of the Red Dead Redemption posters.
Yeah, I know. Where the hell is that movie? Where is that movie? Red Dead Redemption, the movie.
Yeah, right. Jesus. But yeah, I think I'll also give it to this because I don't mind if Outlaw Josie Wales goes through because obviously I'm an Eastwood guy and it's great. But yeah, I think more people should see it. It's John Hillcoat who did The Road, which is another dark movie. This is a pretty dark movie with some grim stuff in it, some red themes in it. With a thing they make this guy doing. So I won't spoil it for anybody that's seen it. But I'll give it to the proposition because I think more people should check it out. So Zach.
So. I've heard of the Outlaw Josie Wales. I haven't heard of the proposition, and I'm also going to vote for Outlaw Josie Wales because I have seen that image so many times. So it's something that that draws you in, I guess, and it just because it's so familiar, I'm going with Josie Wales.
Okay. Yeah, Josie Wales will move through. All right, good job, guys. We are on to our speed round because that'll do it for the outer brackets. And we'll be right back with our speed round with one final word from our sponsor today, Bonanza Action Figure.
The action men from Bonanza, the Cartwrights, the greatest Western toys ever. Little Joe, fastest left-handed draw in the West. Ben, the toughest pioneer who ever rode the plains. And Hoss, always ready for a good fight. You can even get the Outlaw, the meanest desperado you ever saw.
Watch out! He's getting away! Hit him, Hoss! Pow! You got him!
And you can get the trailblazing 4-in-1 Bonanza wagon. Each Cartwright comes complete with over a dozen accessories. Each horse has action hooves. You can buy Little Joe's Pinto, Hoss's Stallion, and Ben's big buckskin. The action men from Bonanza will put you right in the Wild West. By American character, the hottest brand around.
Oh man, action hooves? You gotta be kidding.
That was hysterical. Over 12 accessories. What are you, crazy? Gotta have that.
What's that?
I want them.
Yeah, I know. I want some of those action hooves. Horses. It sounds good. So
it looks like the actual people that they're supposed to be.
Haas looked like he might be going to do something wrong with that horse, but then it looked, maybe
That's
I was
right.
misunderstanding.
Was he in Ironhide or was he in Bonanza?
He was in Rawhide.
Rawhide. That's right.
Because I almost pulled some stuff from Rawhide. But yeah, he's in the credits. Of that.
And I know a couple of contract guys were in Bonanza. Nimoy and what's his face? The Doctor. Were both in Bonanza. Nimoy and the Doctor in Star Trek were both in Bonanza.
Oh, right. Yeah, everybody was on that show back in the day.
Rolling.
We watched it.
Rolling. Going. Man, my ass is rolling right.
Kelly. That's it.
Yes. All right, guys. So it is speed round time. I want quick votes, 10 seconds or less. Let's breeze through this thing. Let's see which one takes the title tonight. We're going to get into some tough matches here as we're starting out with Tombstone and the Wild Bunch, and we're going to start with Maria.
Tombstone.
Dan.
Tombstone.
I'll go with Tombstone. Zach?
Tombstone.
And Soda.
Clean sweep, Tombstone.
Clean sweep for the Tombstone. All right. Moving on to 316. Got Stagecoach and True Grit. John Wayne matchup here. Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the OG True Grit.
I'm going to go Stagecoach. Zach.
True Grit.
True Grit. Soda.
True Grit.
And Maria.
Stagecoach, because I love it.
All right. It's a close one, but True Grit will take this one. Mr. Conrad.
Okay.
All right. Unforgiven and High Noon. Sorry, Dan. This is a tough one.
Jesus Christ.
You'll get a second to think about it because I'm up first. I'll take Unforgiven. Zach.
High Noon.
High Noon. Soda.
Unforgiven.
Forgiven. Maria.
High Noon.
And Dan, comes down to you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I knew it was going to come down to me, but I'll tell you, I know we're supposed to go quick here. I freaking love High Noon more than, I just absolutely love this movie. But in my personal top 10 of all time, in my top 5, number 5 on my top 10 of all time is right there, right behind me. It's called Unforgiven.
Yeah.
So I got to
figured you were going to do that. I figured. But yeah, tough one. Sorry, High Noon.
Okay.
But it's good, really good. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really, really good.
That was in another part of the bracket. It might have made it further.
Yeah, for sure. There Will Be Blood and Rio Bravo. Zach?
There Will Be Blood.
Soda.
Rio Bravo.
Maria.
Rio Bravo.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of There Will Be Blood, so I'm glad everybody's picking Rio Bravo, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. I went on There Will Be Blood, but yeah, Rio Bravo is moving on. I'm cool with that. Got Back to the Future 3 and Shane. Soda.
Back to the Future 3.
Okay. Maria.
Back to the Future 3.
Dan.
I'll go with Shane. I know it's not going to win, though.
Yeah, I got to go Back to the Future 3. Zach.
Back to the Future 3.
All right. Here we go. Back to the Future 3. Pale Rider. Magnificent 7 Remake. Maria.
Magnificent 7.
Okay. Dan.
Oh, Pale Rider. I remember I was 10 years old when this came out, and I freaking just loved it. I saw all those other ones, but I love this one.
I'm going to surprisingly go the Magnificent 7 on this one. Zach?
Magnificent 7.
And Soda.
Pale Rider.
Right, close one. Another close one. 3-2 for Magnificent 7 going on. Got Bone Tomahawk and Hell or High Water. Dan.
Yeah, I love Bone Tomahawk, and I think, like you said, it's a horror and a Western together. But, I think the best neo-Western next to No Country for Old Men is Hell or High Water. I think it's amazing, so I'm going with that one.
I might see where this is going, so I'm going to show my horror love here and go Bone Tomahawk. But I'm okay with either one. Zach?
Bone Tomahawk.
Soda.
Hell or High Water.
And Maria.
Hell or High Water.
All right, another close one. Squeak through. Hell or High Water. All right. Bone Tomahawk's great, though. Check it out. Got the Searchers versus the original Magnificent 7. Me first. I'm going to go the Magnificent 7. Zach?
Magnificent 7.
All right, Soda.
Searchers.
Maria.
Searchers.
Oh,
And
God.
Dan.
You guys put me in this situation.
Man.
Oh, my God. All right. So I do love the Searchers, but for that one reason of that whitewashing, I'm going to go with the Magnificent 7.
All right, another close one. Some heavy hitters getting knocked out here. That's the thing about tournament fights. You never know what'll happen. Magnificent 7 moves on. All right. So let's go to the other side. We got part of our Sweet 16 there. Oh, yeah. We're in speed round time. So
No Wolfman. We got no Wolfman. That's why.
I know.
I love it. I love Wolfman if you watch it.
We'll end at a good time tonight. No, I appreciate that. Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and Young Guns. Zach.
Young Guns.
Young Guns. Soda.
Liberty Valance.
Okay. Maria.
Liberty Valance.
Yeah, I'm going with the Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Yeah, I'll also take Liberty Valance. So Liberty Valance will move on. High Plains Drifter. Ooh, and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood squaring off. Soda.
Good, bad, ugly.
Maria.
Good, the bad, the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Sorry, I mean the pizza piece.
That's
yeah, I love High Plains Drifter, but yeah, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, High Plains Drifter is my favorite post Dollar trilogy of Eastwood, but I'll go the good, bad, and the ugly. Zach.
Good, bad, and ugly.
All right, clean sweep it there. Just a tough break for High Plains Drifter. It's a good one. Kioma, and for a few dollars more, Maria.
A few dollars more. I've seen it.
Dan.
Yeah, a few dollars more.
My favorite Western for a few dollars more. Zach.
Just because of the poster, Kioma.
That's fair.
Nice poster.
Eventually, by the way, we're gonna do a tournament where we're gonna have people submit their favorite posters and just do it strictly based on the posters.
Oh, I would so want to be on that.
That's awesome.
So not even the movie. You're just gonna vote on which poster.
Oh yeah, totally.
So that'll be fun. But Dan.
Yeah, I said a few.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to go to Soda. I'm sorry. I'm out of order here. Sorry about that.
For $2 more.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I got out of order there.
Yeah,
Not bad. I got Blazing Saddles and Once Upon a Time in the West. Oh boy, this could be an interesting one. Dan.
Once Upon a Time in the West is one of the great, if not the greatest Western of all time, and I'll stand by that.
This is the hardest one so far. I gotta go with my favorite comedy of all time, Blazing Saddles. But I'm okay with Once Upon a Time in the West going through. Zach.
Blazing Saddles.
Soda.
Blazing Saddles.
Maria.
Blazing Saddles.
Wow.
Even though I think Henry Fonda's amazing, but that thing is just
wow. Man, that's
I honestly would say Blazing Saddles is bigger.
Maybe.
Good.
Wow. All right. Hang 'em high and the Hateful Eight. Battle of the H's here. Me first. I'm going to go Hateful Eight. Zach.
Hateful Eight.
Soda.
Hateful Eight.
Maria.
Hateful Eight.
And
I know my vote doesn't count, but hang 'em high.
Your vote always counts. It's not like I skipped you. But we're going to Hateful Eight here. Giant versus 310 to Yuma. Zach.
Oh boy.
310 to Yuma.
Okay. Soda. Giant. Maria.
310 to Yuma. Sorry, Soda.
That's all good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with 310 to Yuma here, too. I think Giant getting through when it did is good for that, but I think 310 to Yuma is more deserving.
I'm going to go the same way. Matt, I will text you as soon as I'm watching Giant, I promise.
Right on.
I'll let you know what I think. Oh, man. No, I've got it on there ready to go. I'm going to watch it on my big screen and pop my lights on. Django Unchained and Open Range. Soda, you're up first on this one.
Django Unchained.
Okay. Maria.
Django Unchained. Sorry.
Yeah.
Django Unchained.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, the original Django not knocked out, but I'll vote for Django Unchained. Zach?
Django Unchained.
All right. Clean sweep for the Django Unchained. Moving down to Death Rides a Horse and the Outlaw Josie Wales. Eastwood versus Lee Van Cleef, kind of like in The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Maria.
Wow. I think I'm going to go with your horse. I've seen the Outlaw a lot.
Okay.
I'm going with your horse. Okay.
Sure. Dan.
The Outlaw Josie Wales.
As much as even my love of Lee Van Cleef, I'll go the Outlaw Josie Wales on this one. Zach.
Outlaw Josie Wales.
And Soda.
Outlaw Josie Wales, and I really want that fucking poster.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty damn badass poster.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Oh, yeah. All right, so we are into our Sweet 16. We are going in to our Elite 8, the ones that will square off with the community in the poll. Hopefully I'll remember to get that up tomorrow. I've been bad lately, but I promise I will get this one up tomorrow because I like it. So the winners of this one, these matches will make it to the poll. So let's see what makes it. There are heavy hitters that will not make it, so we will see. Starting off with Tombstone against True Grit. Dan.
I think this is a time for True Grit to go good night, I'm going to go with Tombstone.
Yeah, I got more love for Tombstone. Zach?
Yeah.
Tombstone.
That makes sense.
Soda?
Tombstone.
And Maria?
Tombstone.
All right, Tombstone sweeps its way into the Elite Eight. I'm just going to take a second to write these down as we get them so I can remember them. All right, Tombstone first in the Elite Eight. Moving down to Unforgiven against Rio Bravo. And again, Eastwood versus John Wayne here. Me first, I'm going to take Unforgiven. Zach?
Unforgiven.
Soda?
Unforgiven.
Maria?
Unforgiven.
And Dan, you're going to sweep it, of course?
Yes, Unforgiven.
All right, Unforgiven into the Elite Eight. As expected, it is a heavy hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite, we will see. Back to the Future 3 against the Magnificent Seven remake. Zach?
By a slim margin, Back to the Future 3.
Okay, Soda?
Great Scott!
Maria?
Wow. Magnificent Seven, I have to.
Okay,
The
Dan?
Magnificent Seven remake.
You know what? This is just for strategy, and you may see why in a minute. I'm going to go with the Magnificent Seven. All right, so.
Okay.
All right. Hang on. Let me write this down. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell or High Water and the Magnificent Seven.
I knew his strategy.
We knew what your
Yeah.
strategy was.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Soda.
Magnificent Seven.
Maria.
Hell or High Water.
Dan.
The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mag 7 on this one. Zach.
Magnificent Seven.
All right, we're going to get it in the next round. So we'll see. We'll get there in a few minutes because, anticipating that matchup. That'll be fun. See where everybody goes. On the other side, we got Liberty Valance against the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Once again, Williams, Eastwood. Maria.
I have to go with Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm sorry. I love the other one, too.
Excuse me, Dan.
I'm going to go with The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Okay. I'm going to go Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Zach.
I'm just going to go with James Stewart, so Liberty Valance.
Okay, Soda, down to you.
Liberty Valance.
Wow, that is an upset.
That
is an upset.
Wow.
The Bad and the Ugly goes down to Liberty Valance. All right, interesting. I'm gonna get all. Don't worry, I'll be the one that has to yield the comments of where the hell is the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in the Elite Eight if it's not there. So I will note that in my parentheses that it went down.
You're gonna have to mention right away in the post when you drop the poll.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm gonna have to put Liberty Valance KO'd.
No. Don't say it so it doesn't friggin' prejudice the decisions.
Oh yeah, right. All right, so got for a few dollars more and Blazing Saddles. Dan.
I'm gonna go with Blazing Saddles.
Okay, so what I said about that other one being the hardest matchup, this was the hardest because these are both in my top 25 movies of all time. For a few dollars more. Zach.
Blazing Saddles.
Soda.
Blazing Saddles.
And Maria.
Blazing Saddles.
Damn, I thought this would be the closest I could get him for a few dollars more into the Elite Eight.
I'm sorry.
Not gonna happen. No, it's okay because I love Blazing Saddles. It's my favorite comedy. Again, I'm not mad at it.
Blazing Saddles is like Unforgiven. It's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, no, it is a heavy hitter, actually. Yeah, go up against all these serious movies. It's the one comedy in here that's a heavy hitter. Yeah, right. Hateful Eight. Yeah, Hateful Eight and 310 to Yuma got a modern matchup here. Me first. I'm going to take Hateful Eight. Zach.
Because I've seen it, Hateful Eight.
Soda.
Because the other one knocked out Giant. Hateful Eight.
Maria.
Hateful Eight.
All right, and Dan.
My vote doesn't matter, but 310 to Yuma.
Like I said, don't say that. Your vote matters. Hateful Eight moves on into the Elite Eight. And finally, on this side, Django Unchained against Outlaw Josie Wales. We'll go to Zach first.
Django Unchained.
Soda.
Outlaw Jonesy Wales.
Maria.
Outlaw Josie Wales.
Dan.
Outlaw Josie Wales.
Oh, what is the Django Unchained? We almost had a Tarantino matchup, but it's not going to happen. Outlaw Josie Wales. Maybe pull a little bit of an upset there.
That's one of his good ones.
I would say
yeah.
But yeah.
Maybe a little bit of an upset. Maybe 2 upsets here with the Liberty Valance and the Josie Wales upsets. So there you go. All right. So we are into our Elite Eight. These are all great movies. I'm not going to argue that at all.
Yeah.
No problem with that at all. Going into the final 4 here. Scroll just a tad. Got a big one. Got a battle of the 90s here. Maybe the 2 best of the 90s. Tombstone, Unforgiven, Soda.
Yay, caramba.
Tombstone.
Yeah. Maria.
It's against Unforgiven?
Yeah.
Yes, Unforgiven Tombstone. Yeah, right?
I have to go with Unforgiven. I have to go with Unforgiven. I love Tombstone. I really do love it.
All right, Dan. Dan's Unforgiven, I'm guessing.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go Tombstone. Zach?
Come on, Zach.
No pressure. It all depends on you.
Come on, Zach.
Tombstone.
Wow.
You just killed democracy. No, I'm kidding.
Man, this has been a night of upsets here.
It doesn't surprise me though. I mean, the dynamic, the age differences, and the habits of what they watch and everything. It makes sense. It don't make. I'm not as upset. I love Tombstone, so it's not a big thing.
Sorry for that that way I said it. I just wanted to get your reaction.
Yeah, right. Yeah, battle of the upsets. This is something. All right. We are going into the battle of the OG versus the remake. Magnificent 7 versus Magnificent 7. Maria.
I think I'll go with the remake.
The remake. Okay, Dan.
The original.
Yeah, this one, Yul Brynner's just too damn cool. I'm going to go with the original.
He is cool.
Zach.
The remake.
All right, comes down to you, Soda, on this one.
Magnificent 7.
Oh.
Okay, sounds good.
Your dad liked it, I bet. Everybody liked that. I don't mind it. It's fine.
What are you actually going with?
Oh, I said the original.
Okay, I didn't hear it through the chat.
Yeah, sorry. No, the original.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you heard. I apologize. I said something.
I didn't hear it.
The original's not the theme song, really.
Yeah. All right, on the other side, we've got Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and Blazing Saddles. Dan.
Liberty Valance.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
And so,
because I've loved it longer, Blazing Saddles.
And Maria.
That's my first date with my husband movie. I have to go with Blazing Saddles. I mean, I love Liberty too.
All right, Blazing Saddles into the final 4. Okay.
This is the most screwed up Western tournament I've ever seen.
I wouldn't say that. They're all good movies.
They're all good. They're all good. I'm just messing with you.
It's not like we're putting through Young Guns all the way to the finals, Like, these are all good movies.
Weed them out.
Young Guns versus A Million Ways to Die in the West. There we go.
Yeah, right.
Million Ways to Die in the West is hilarious. I love that movie.
Versus Five Will Goes West. Yeah, exactly. That would be our final 4. Hateful Eight and Outlaw Josie Wales. Me first. I'm gonna go Hateful Eight. Zach.
Hateful Eight.
Okay. Soda.
Josie Wales.
Who?
Wales. Maria.
Hateful Eight.
And Dan.
Josie Wales.
Hey, at least you weren't alone on that one.
Hateful Eight moves in the 4. So our final 4 on one side. Zach will go first. Tombstone versus the original Magnificent 7. Zach.
I've seen both of them. That's what sucks.
No, it's a good thing.
No, but to pick slightly Tombstone.
Soda.
Tombstone.
Okay. Maria.
Tombstone.
Dan.
Tombstone.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go Tombstone. So Other side, Blazing Saddles, Hateful Eight, Soda.
Blazing Saddles.
Maria.
Ay, caramba. What in the world is going on here? I love that. Oh, geez. Blazing Saddles. God.
Dan.
Blazing Saddles.
I will take Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles for one, Alex.
Blazing Saddles.
Wow, 2 clean sweeps into the finals.
Yeah.
And we have our finals matchup here.
This is hysterical.
So I just want to point this out before we vote on this. Clint Eastwood and John Wayne had the clear advantage with the most amount of movies, and neither one of them are in the finals of this tournament. So, yeah, interesting how that works out. They dominated the Elite Eight, and neither one of them made it. So we have our finals: Tombstone, Blazing Saddles, and we are starting with Maria.
Why do you do this to me? Oh my goodness! All right, watchability, both great factors. Blazing Saddle, easier to quote. Blazing Saddles. Sorry.
Okay.
Tombstone.
Okay.
Tombstone.
Okay, Tombstone. I'm going to take Blazing Saddles. Zach.
So it's all going to be up to Soda because I'm going Tombstone.
Soda's on you.
So I legit love both of these movies. They are both very quotable.
You're
They
right.
are both phenomenal, but I am going to give it to the most unlikely winner ever, Blazing Saddles.
Wow.
Suppose we held a tournament and a comedy won.
We had an entire Westerns tournament, and the
Love
parody
it.
Western wins the entire thing.
Love it. That's the most unusual outcome probably ever.
Amazing. And yeah, as Brian points out, this is the second Mel Brooks winner because Spaceballs won our movie set in other planets or other worlds or space tournament. So Mel Brooks, a 2-time winner. But Blazing Saddles, a first-time winner here on Tournament
That's
Fights.
amazing.
And yes, it's
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Comedy takes out all these serious movies.
We
and,
gave them all
takes the
homage.
entire
They
thing.
all the movies got what
Wow.
they deserved as well as praise, in the way of that good stuff. So
Interesting. So there we go.
Zach, it's your fault.
amazing. I love it.
You could have picked
Love
Unforgiven, Zach. If you would have picked
Yeah.
Unforgiven when you had a chance, we
I
might
mean,
have.
Unforgiven might not have made it against Blazing Saddles either.
I was going to say,
It's
if
got
you
him on
picked
the line.
Unforgiven, if I picked Unforgiven, it probably was going to fall at Blazing Saddles anyway.
No, it wouldn't have.
Yeah, it might have.
Gene Wilder over Clint Eastwood. So
The trouble is too with John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, they have so many. It's like almost ridiculous.
Yeah, no, like I said, they had the advantage coming in here with the sheer amount of movies. But yeah, I mean, even some ones I thought would be in the eight, like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly didn't make it. Yeah, I mean, some good movies in there that
I think
did
we
not
talked
make
them up
it.
enough. Yeah. So
Yeah,
people will
yeah,
try
no,
them,
we
I
definitely
think, out of
talked
what we
them up.
talked here.
But yeah, really interesting Elite Eight.
I'm not unhappy. I love Blazing Saddles.
Oh, no, I guess it's my favorite comedy, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it's the best. So yeah, we'll wrap this thing up. But 240, we didn't do too bad tonight. Yeah, we did all right. Dan can vote in the poll and rip everybody a new one in the comment section. So and
get no
say
kick
his
from
piece.
champagne.
He's gonna end up doing a retro review and blaming us for not picking
The downfall of civilization.
Yeah, right. But let's go around and get some plugs, and we'll wrap this thing up and ride off into the sunset. Zach Shelton, what you got going on?
I am everywhere. I have a YouTube channel, Movie Fan Z. That's also the name on Letterboxd, and I compete everywhere on Movie Battleground, where our match Austin just uploaded today.
Mm-hmm.
I also am on the Pierce Co. and Lights Out, so you can just find me everywhere.
Yeah, totally. Sounds good.
Every single word.
Soda, what you got going on?
You can find me in my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me doing stuff over in the Northern Entertainment Group and on my wrestling channel, the Sodagan Wrestling Network.
Yay, wrestling.
Yay.
All right. Maria, what you got going
I'm
on?
here and there. I go where people will ask me to participate, and or I can, get a match and try to win something. It doesn't always work, like ever. But this is fun. I like these kind of things. This is
Yeah, these
fun,
are
where I
a
get
lot.
to give opinions, and it's not bad. Love it. So thank you for the invite. Enjoying my time here. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Dan, where can we find you, man? What you got going on?
Well, I'm a film critic in Orlando, Florida, and I write for two websites. One is my own called FromTheFourthRow.com, and the other is called DisappointmentMedia.com. Also, I've been on Gone with the Wind for a few years now, and that's a podcast where we talk about awards season. And we're going weekly this coming week, and we're going to be going every week all the way through to the Oscars. So if you like awards season and you want to watch people talk about awards movies, consideration, the Golden Globes, SAGs, the Oscars, all that stuff, it's Gone with the Wind with my co-host Malcolm Lay and Louis Guzman, or I think Louis Guzman, or Gonzalez. I forget what his last name is. Damn it, Louis, I apologize. And then I'm also in the middle of a celebration of my life. Called My Love, My Life, My Love, 50 Years in Film, where myself and I pick a movie every year of my existence, and I do a review, and I do them in 10-year increments on my website. And I'm up to my fourth decade. And also I do a companion video with myself. It wouldn't be fun for me to just be on a video picking my favorite movies. So I have some friends of mine pick their favorite movies, and we banter back and forth about mine and theirs, whatever. And so I'm up to episode 4 will be out on the 20th of October. And also I've been on the Bill Pickle Network on the they have a revisionist history regarding the Academy Awards called their podcast is called Picture This, and I've done all the years with the Godfather years 72, 74, and 90, also 1980, yeah, that's pretty much. You'll see me here pop up once in a while. I might take a break for a while after this.
Oh, don't be down, Dan. Come on, you'll be back. You'll be back stronger than ever. But yeah, so just a little preview of what's coming up on Movie Hero that I will take care of the usual Jordan type plugs. Yeah, next week we'll be starting our 2007 ladder series. So a few of the movies that popped up in here tonight will pop up again. 310 to Yuma, Assassination for Jesse James will be in those tournaments. So we'll see them again. So we'll start that next week. That'll be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then we'll begin to get into our horror series. So it is Scary Movie Month coming up here. October is right around the corner, obviously, and we got some horror themed episodes throughout the month. Just naming a few of them, we got a Masters of Horror episode, so that'll be a director centric episode with John Carpenter versus George Romero versus Toby Hooper versus Wes Craven, and we might fill in a few of those gaps if we don't have enough with James Wan and Joe Dante as well. So you can stay tuned for that one. That'll be a fun one. We got Malcolm versus Jordan in sort of a battle of their favorite horror movies, because they're a little more casual fans, so they might have some more kind of casual picks and a few niche picks, but it'll be a battle of their 232s against each other. We've got horror comedies tournament coming up, so we'll see which one wins that one. We're going to do a horror tournament of all PG and PG-13 horror movies and pick some of the best ones out there and see which one takes that tournament. So the less gory stuff, stuff that's a little more tame, will be in that one. And then we'll cap it off with a tier ranker at the end of the month we're going to take the Rolling Stone top 100 horror movies of all time. We're just going to throw all 100 of them into the pool for that tier ranker and just see which ones come out on top of that episode. Nice. So a lot of things going up on the Movie Hero Network. After that ladder series, we'll be getting scary with lots of horror-centric content. So hopefully you'll join us for that. That's my favorite genre. So I love horror. I'm looking forward to October. Always a good time watching lots of scary movies. But appreciate it. Yeah, this is a good time tonight. Appreciate everyone. Sorry, Brian. I would have busted out Cowboy Pez. I'm just too tired. So I have to go to work tomorrow. I'm tired. So, people know about Cowboy Pez, but he might have shown up tonight if I wasn't so sleepy. We'll break this down. I appreciate everybody, you guys being on here tonight. Thank you so much. And it's time to ride off. So for Zach Shelton, for Soda, for Maria, for Dan, I am Austin Pez Howell filling in as host tonight. We'll see you next time. Let's take it out with a little Roy Rogers.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet